The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, June 16th, 2021, years after the year zero, and this show begins right now. Shout out to you listening at SiriusXM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, or at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Can't thank you enough for spending your afternoons alongside this dumbass sports show. At Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt, sitting in the room with me, obviously at the toxic table, the boys in the back. And to be honest, it could be soccer today leading off, but the Euros stink.
Yeah, terrible.
Okay? They stink. Cristiano Ronaldo, hell of a performance.
Hey, Cristiano.
Hell of a performance yesterday, Cristiano.
Way to do it.
Way to play soccer well. Hey, he had that penalty.
Oh.
He had that penalty, and then he scored another goal that was absolutely filthy.
Bengals.
The Euros is still happening right now, I believe. Russia and Finland are playing at 0-0, I think. Nah,
Yeah,
maybe
they
one.
just finished.
They might have just.
They just finished. Wales and someone else is on right
Oh,
now. Yeah.
Wales and Turkey's
That's
playing.
right, that's right, that's
Okay,
right.
so we'll keep our eye on that. We watched France-Germany yesterday. Obviously, that was an absolute battle out there. Benzema back from a 6-year suspension with the French national team due to a collusion situation happening behind the scenes. He had a big-time goal yesterday. They were so happy for him.
Massive.
They're like, we, you know.
Mbappe in the box.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
like, no.
Mbappe, got murdered from behind, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The internet said it was a clean tackle. I disagree.
No, we watched it live.
Yeah, we watched it live. Our eyes seen it, and
Yeah.
we did a VAR ourselves, which is their review system over there, and we seen it.
Penalty.
Murdered.
Come on.
And then there was an offsides goal that happened. They got taken back. You know, excitement was there, and then it was taken back. Kind of soccer in general.
Yeah.
We will continue to watch the Euros because it's sports on the television, so it's much better than whatever else could be on the television. But the big story today, on this Wednesday, June 16th, guess what? Kevin Durant's all the way back.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, Kevin Durant is all the way back. Oklahoma City, obviously fresh out of Texas. I got a chance to watch him at Texas. Obviously, West Virginia, there's a little bit of a tie in there. Not whenever I was there, but the West Virginia basketball team was good. So obviously, I'm watching high-end college basketball. What Kevin Durant did in Texas was unbelievable.
Incredible.
Then when he goes to Oklahoma City, this guy's a guy.
Yeah.
Didn't really know much about him, though. Right? Had no tattoos, but then I heard he had all the tattoos.
He is tatted.
They're like, no, actually, he is completely tatted. Chooses not to tat his arms for whatever reason. I'm like, oh, cool, interesting guy. Then you start hearing about his investments. Then you start hearing about the business and the burners and everything else. I'm like, is this the most interesting dude maybe walking this earth? The way he's built, his attitude, his intelligence, the way he can play. It is an anomaly, alien type situation possibly in Oklahoma City. Then he decides to do the unthinkable.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. He wants to win? This guy fucking stinks, everybody says. He goes to Golden State, absolutely lights it up alongside the Splash Brothers, becomes the guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
On that particular team. They win. They start a dynasty. Then it becomes the Hamptons house situation. Who wants Kevin Durant? He's injured. We don't know when he's going to come back. The Nets end up winning, and it's like, okay, Brooklyn is now the spot. We didn't get a chance to see it for a long time. And last night, without Kyrie Irving and a hampered James Harden, who, by the way, was still pissed about everything.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm not making shots. All right. I'm not really doing much tonight because I'm not really fully all the way back. Maybe next game I'll be all the way back or whatever. I was able to bounce out of adult ballets fresh onto a Brooklyn Nets court and look very good, although they thought I was fat in Houston at the beginning of the season. He was not all the way back last night, missing something. He was still bitching, though.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, he was still motivated.
foul.
He was still leading. And those refs, I mean, they were getting full from James Harden, and he was walking off. Great. Hey, great braid, great twist. He was twisted up very. That probably hurt, by the way, to happen. I don't know. I've got it done in my hair one time. It hurt like hell. Beard was obviously flawless. Wasn't his best game though. So guess who we need? Aside from Green, 27 points.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin Durant, you're gonna have to do it tonight. I think Steve Nash even told him, like, hey, listen. Kyrie, you saw what happened to his ankle on that big dumbass G foot the other night. He's done. He's out, dude. James, we saw him earlier today. He can barely run. We had him questionable just an hour ago. He's playing just strictly because we don't have enough guys to put on the court. You're going to have to do it tonight. And he did. Early, it wasn't great. I don't think early he wasn't as dominant. But in the second half, and late in that game, after being down a lot to Milwaukee, that show that Kevin Durant put on put us right back into a couple years ago whenever he was on the Golden State Warriors, right back into whenever he was at Texas thinking this guy could be the guy. He proved last night once again that he is maybe the most electrifying point scorer that basketball has had in a long. Even if he's over at fucking Rucker Park, you remember at Rucker Park, I think he might have scored 70 points that night on every single person that was there.
row.
He has like that savage mentality,
Oh, yeah.
both on and off the court. That was awesome to watch last night. I also enjoyed watching James Harden do James Harden whenever he wasn't scoring like James Harden or doing anything like James Harden. I like that Nets team. I know a lot of people hate them, but I'm happy to see that they're not going to be gone by any means. I think Kevin Durant's going to go ahead and strap them right onto their back right now.
Easily. And he played every single minute. Like, he didn't come out of the game one time. So it was one of those situations where it was Steve Nash, hey, you're going to have to put the team on your back.
Hey, how
and
about that
never
hug?
come out.
How about that hug between Steve Nash
Yeah.
and Kevin
Oh, man.
Durant? It was a full, maybe the most intense hug I've seen in some time there by old Steve Nash. His face was just so locked in. Fucking thank you, man.
Thank
We're
you
going to
so
lose to
much.
Milwaukee, dude. You know how much money we spent to get everybody here? This owner was going to kill me if we didn't. Thank you so much. It was cool to see him have to flip on that switch because when you have Steph or Clay, if Kevin Durant's having an off night, normally they just start funneling the ball somewhere else.
Yep.
Not that he's ever having an off night, but it's not like he has to either combat or battle with the team being down when they're at Golden State. It's like other guys also being questioned and asked. Last night it was just Kevin Durant. That was awesome, dude. I'm so fucking pumped for him.
I feel like he doesn't get the respect he deserves just because of like the burner accounts and stuff like that. Like people, I feel like personally dislike him, but when he's on like that, like it's tough to find someone who's more entertaining to watch.
Yeah, there was a 3 in the fourth. I don't remember which one. Obviously, the pass from James Harden with like 4 seconds to go in the shot clock. Shout out James, put him in a good situation.
Great pass.
Great pass to him, getting the ball to him. He just puts that up and it falls, and he does the full yell thing. That had to be a pretty cool feeling for him, by the way. Like, oh yeah, everything I'm shooting's going in, except for the first foul shot of 2 shots that could have got me to 50, which I enjoyed him loudly screaming fuck, by the way, on the court and in that entire arena. But that pass and that shot was awesome because it was just like, okay, this dude's a bucket right now. The first one that led off that entire thing, though, it felt like he just had like this different, it looked like he was like locked in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was me just imagining something, and maybe I was so doped up I thought I was seeing some stuff.
Could be.
But like as he was shooting that, I thought to myself, I was like, oh, okay, like, hey, easy money sniper is locked in right now. Then the next time down, bang. And then he shot one from like the logo and it was a brick or whatever after a timeout. They called a timeout. I think old buddy from Milwaukee, the
Coach
guy,
Bud.
the insurance sales guy, he was like, hey, we got to slow this down a little bit. That whole thing, that whole run with Kevin Durant, the NBA needs Kevin Durant to do that all
Big
the time.
time.
Right now, especially with Kawhi Leonard being out. Okay, he's got a sprained knee or something like that. I assume that's ligament. He's out indefinitely. Who knows how long that is, if he was playing, if they think he could play. Basketball is so much back and forth. Very hard floor as well. I assume they'll, I don't want to say that.
No,
because I don't know how the NBA operates.
I think
It's the
so.
playoffs, though. It's Kawhi, who's one of your stars. I don't know how much this is pain management or actual, structural damage moving forward. But the Clippers don't need this. They were about to get hot and maybe win back LA after LeBron did his whole thing. And then as of this morning, the fairy tale story out of the desert,
Man.
with the Phoenix Suns fans, okay, lining up outside of guys' cars and Rolls Royces, losing their mind. You got fans in the stands with mullets beating the fuck out of other fans. The Phoenix Suns were all the way back. Devin Booker's dating a Kardashian. They're doing their entire thing. They beat the Lakers. What are we doing? How you doing? Keep it moving. They're going to go on a run. Suns in 4. They sweep. Fucking COVID.
Oh, no.
Come on!
Hey, we thought John Rahm was the last guy.
Yeah.
Didn't we? We thought Utah Jazz to John Rahm.
Swan song.
That was it.
What a run.
That was the COVID sports hits. Utah Jazz game. Everybody's going to get out of the arena. Do not panic. Once again, if you do not leave this arena, everybody will die, but please do not panic. Please keep it down. Everybody is yelling too loud. You might die if you continue to yell at each other. That was wild. That was our introduction. Next day, March Madness was delayed and then inevitably canceled. I mean, that was the start of the whole thing. We thought John Rahm's 6-stroke lead, about, I don't know, at least $2 million about to go into his bank account. All of a sudden, Uncle COVID comes sliding. We thought that was the last one. That was a couple weeks ago. The world's back. New York just lifted all their mandates.
Yes.
That's where this whole thing started at, basically. California's got their shit. 50-some thousand people at a Dodgers game last night. We thought everybody's all the way back. How you doing? Keep it moving. John Rahm lose a couple million the last couple weeks ago. Phoenix Suns just get done sweeping. Hey, Chris Paul, you never won a championship before, right? Hey, people are going to talk about your legacy on whether or not you won a championship, right?
Probably.
Everybody's basically out now that could potentially stop this team that you're on right now. But, hey, by the way, fucking COVID, dude, get the fuck out.
Get in the protocol.
Hey, see you later.
And that's the difference between LeBron James and everybody else in the NBA.
Whoa!
Hey, LeBron goes to a COVID party. Hey, you know what, LeBron? Go ahead.
He didn't go, it wasn't a COVID. It was a tequila.
Yeah.
Release.
Come on.
In theory,
Launch,
in
dude.
theory, Chris Paul's doing, everything he can to will his team to win, and he gets the vaccine allegedly, and now he's not allowed to play.
So you're saying because LeBron was shoulder shimmying with Drake at that tequila thing.
Yes.
You're saying you're assuming somebody in there had COVID at some point?
Absolutely.
You're wrong, because LeBron had everybody tested that was going in there,
sure.
or they had to walk in with the
hit 'em.
vaccine.
Oh,
They had to
yeah.
hit him with this one right here.
Okay.
That's what they had to do. Chris Paul was out there, what? Now, Jalen Rose said, and to quote somebody from Hollywood, okay, I'm not sure Jalen Rose is Walter Cronkite on news breaking, especially of this magnitude.
Right.
But I would assume Jalen would know, right? Jalen's not going
Probably.
on Get Up just to say, he's vaccinated too. So, like, that's a pretty big piece of information, especially in the world that we're in right now. I think there's a lot of, are you allowed to ask? Is this a HIPAA thing? Can you say it? Can you not say it? Are people being secretive about it? Some people are just like, hey,
right here.
hey, I don't want to have to do the mask thing. I'm just trying to get some cereal. Some people are like that. I don't think everybody's like that. So that'll be the next, why did he get the vaccination then? Does he have it, or is it the protocol because he was around somebody that had it? Isn't that why you get the vaccine, so that you don't get it if you are around somebody that got it? How does that affect the protocol? I don't know. I'm just kind of, this is a wild time for Adam Silver, especially with Jalen saying he is vaccinated, and then now the Suns being back for the first time in long
Charles
time.
Barkley.
And then the LeBron thing, I didn't even think about that, but you're obviously LeBron hater would throw that into the mix.
It's just something to think about.
That is something. Adam Silver's got to kind of sit on this and stare this down, like, what the fuck's going on?
I would assume if he is vaccinated, though, what he only needs so if he doesn't have COVID, he only needs to pass 2 tests that show negative, and it's only 2-2 in the other series. Luckily,
Luckily, Suns in 4.
Luckily, Suns in 4. I don't think he's going to miss any time. I think, you hope that he should be back to go whenever the Western Conference Finals start.
If it wasn't 4, Suns in 4.
Yeah.
This little COVID protocol sitch with Chris Paul, COVID Chris probably becomes a little bit of a problem for the Suns.
A lot scarier.
Massive.
And the NBA as a whole.
Right.
Thank God for Suns in 4.
Absolutely.
Joining us now to see if what we are guessing and saying is accurate is senior insider at The Athletic and I think at the Stadium, I believe. A man who calls us and always has the freshest fade on this show with a wildly impeccable beard almost.
Every time.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now. Now, maybe not a beard, but you get it, like a good shape.
Like a fade.
And he's always sitting in front of like a triangle thing.
Yeah,
like a spaceship.
Awesome.
Yeah, he is like he's up there with fucking old Bezos up there.
Yeah.
It's like he's sitting in Bezos' seat that somebody paid $28 million to sit alongside to go to space. That's what it feels like when this man's talking to us. And that's because his information in the NBA, out of this world.
Second to none.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charania. Yes, he does. Yeah, Zito tried to tell me I was wrong about the beard. He was like, no, actually, you always have that like perfectly primmed 5 o'clock shadow. You know what I mean?
I got to, man. Especially when I'm coming on your show.
Do you cut your own hair? Is that why you always have that fresh fade?
I do not cut my own hair. I do my own beard. If I cut my own hair, I would probably mess it up. I did during the quarantine. Did not go well. I'll send you pics on the side, but my beard, I will take credit for my beard.
Okay. Well, you do a great job there, and we will post those pics. They'll be on the side for you. They'll be, full court press for us the next time you come on. So maybe don't send it to us. But Shams, big day here for you. Okay, there's a lot going on. Kawhi, sprained knee. Chris Paul, COVID situation, which I would like to talk about first. And then everything else going on in the NBA with coaches being fired and all this. Maybe somebody's moving talk. There's a lot to chat about. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Let's dive right into the Chris Paul COVID situation. What we just landed upon in our conversation, because we do our brainstorming live on air, is there a chance that if it wasn't for Suns in 4, this would be a real problem, not only for the Suns and the NBA, because he would have to miss some time. Right now, with the other series battling, he's not going to miss anything, right? Is that kind of the thought of this? Is this a protocol suspension, but not inevitably not going to be worth anything in the end? No games will be missed or anything?
Well, there's no question. If they were in the series now, Chris Paul would be sitting games. So that's why his status going into the conference finals, game 1 could be Sunday or it could be on Tuesday. So if his status is very much in doubt to start the Western Conference Finals, there is fear within that organization, within that locker room, that he does have to sit to start that Western Conference Finals series. And obviously that in and of itself is a major blow for this Suns organization. And so, Chris Paul, he entered protocols. The worst case scenario is that he's going to sit at least 10 to 14 days due to the quarantine and isolation period. But if he is vaccinated from the coronavirus, that quarantine time does go down. And so for him, that will be kind of these next few days will be the major telltale moment. Will he eventually test negative in the next few days? How does that impact his situation? Because if he is vaccinated, that does impact his status.
What does that change if he is? You said 13-day quarantine if he's not vaccinated. Is that because he was around somebody with COVID? He tested positive for COVID. Do we not know that yet? What is the whole thing? And if he's vaccinated and that same situation happened, how long is the holdout there? Do you know that? Do we have this information?
Well, I'm not going to speak to whether he's positive or he's not positive. But there has been a regulated kind of timetable where guys have missed during coronavirus related absence, right? Usually you see either a week or you see 10 to 14 days. The worst case scenario, of course, is that it's that 10 to 14 days range. But the fact that he is vaccinated, the fact if he is vaccinated, it'll change and it could shorten his period of isolation if that is the case.
So when you hear Jalen Rose say on TV this morning that he is vaccinated, does that make you immediately go into your contacts and say, hey, is Jalen Rose knows something that we don't? Who all knows that information, and is Jalen Rose right, you think?
Listen, it's up to each individual player to eventually announce whether they are vaccinated or they're not vaccinated. From what I'm told, the belief is that Chris Paul and most of the Suns roster was vaccinated. So that is the belief within the organization. But again, for me to say that he's vaccinated or he's not vaccinated, I leave that up to Chris Paul. All I can do is report what I know, Pat.
Hey, that's very smart, by the way, because we actually had a full conversation on the releasing of information. Is that a HIPAA thing? Is there a privacy thing? What is it? Because it's such a touchy subject that none of us ever expected to be in a situation where that would potentially be a conversation piece, by the way. But here we are with no blueprint going forward. Charania joins us, insider NBA.
Pat,
yeah.
Welcome to my world. I mean, this is, you need to have a level of sensitivity. Some guys don't want their COVID positives out. Some guys do. Some guys don't. Sometimes it's not even a positive. Sometimes it's just contact tracing. But in this case, there really is, a level of fear that it could be extended time.
So we'll find out in the next day or two whether or not, whether or not he's vaccinated or whether or not he was tested positive. Like with the protocols, won't we kind of find out what it is? And then inevitably Chris is probably going to have to address the situation anyways, because that Suns team has kind of taken over everything at this point. If they lose Chris Paul, that'd be a real shame, especially for the guy who beat the hell out of two Nuggets fans in the crowd. I mean, good for that guy. Good for the Suns. Hopefully good news for Chris that his quarantine won't be as long as everything else. Let's talk about Kawhi Leonard. He's hurt, sprained knee. Is this a pain thing, a structural thing? And how long do you expect him to be out? Because LA, the Clippers could have won back LA, Shams.
True.
They could have won back all of LA.
Listen, man, this just goes to show how fragile winning and losing is, right? Like injuries, COVID, this year especially, these are all factors. And every year in the playoffs, you see injuries play a part, right, and play a role as far as the outcome of every single round. But this year, more than ever, I mean, there's just been a lot of guys that have sorry.
Oh,
you know.
what'd you get?
How long's he out for, Shams? Fucking tell us.
Nothing yet.
Oh, okay.
But every year there's always something, and so yeah, with Kawhi, it is serious enough to where he's missing time. To me, any player that's missing the critical playoff games, it's a 2-2 series. For him to be sitting tonight and really having the rest of his postseason, the rest of his series up in the air, in doubt, it tells me that it is a serious injury.
Man.
Again, the team says it's a sprained knee. The severity and to what level it is up in the air right now.
Let's go to last night's game. Hopefully, by the way, Kawhi's all right. I mean, he just posterized a guy last game. Yeah. I mean, that was a big-time moment. If Kawhi's going to start doing that, and Kevin Durant is going to continue to do what he did last night, that's good news for the NBA. That's good news for everybody, I assume. James Harden, I think he had 5 points or something like that, was still, I think working the refs a little bit and some other things. What do you expect for James Harden to get back to full speed? Kyrie Irving, that looked bad. How long's that? And is this going to be the Kevin Durant show going for the foreseeable future for the Brooklyn Nets and Steve Nash?
I mean, it's going to have to be. James Harden gutted it out, but you could tell, his role was pretty much regulated to bring the ball up, trying to set up the offense, and really playing as a decoy on offense. And whether it's standing at the three-point line, trying to find ways to get to the paint, get his teammates involved, that was his role. You weren't seeing the same James Harden step back, slicing and dicing through the lane. He just was not at that level. So if that's the case for the remainder of the series, for the playoffs, it's going to be the KD show. And what he did last night was, I think, it was an all-time performance. It was one for the ages. But without James Harden at 100% capacity and Kyrie Irving, really his status being up in the air for the rest of this series at the very least, it's crazy, Pat. All these guys, Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, these are three all-NBA type guys that are, most likely going to be missing time here, critical time. And so Kyrie Irving, I just would be shocked. The way he sprained his ankle, I would be shocked if he plays, the remainder of the series.
What do you do? Are you just getting texts at all times? Like, hey, got something potentially coming. And when you look off the screen, I'm like, oh, here we go.
What's going on?
How long's he out for? Is there another COVID situation? Is your whole day just working those phones, huh?
It's just text messages coming through. Sometimes I look at my phone. Sometimes I get this alert on the phone. It just comes up. Other times I get it on my Mac. So it's just kind of tracking the text messages all day, seeing what pops.
Steve Jobs.
Go ahead, Shams.
A little Eddie Q on the Mac. Okay, here we go, Shams. How come you basketball people and all those conversations you have on your cell phone, on your Mac, on your tablet? No, probably not your tablet.
iPad, probably.
Your iPad,
There it is.
that whole thing. By the way, Microsoft tablet, good marketing with the NFL, because that was the first thing I thought of there instead of the iPad, which was the OG of the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Surface Pro.
Shout out to Microsoft, I guess.
Yeah, good
no,
work.
No,
no.
Can't do that.
Can't do
Can't
that.
do
Today
that.
we're giving
Yeah.
Who knows what we're giving a shout out to then? Jesus Christ. Anyway, Shams, how come you guys in all those conversations you have in the basketball world don't have Kevin Durant as one of the greatest of all time? How come that never happens? How come that conversation only comes after he almost has a 50, 15, and 10 playoff game, which by the way, he's had 50 in the playoffs before. So how come that never happens until then? What's up with your community over there?
Listen, I can't speak for the rest of the people. I mean, in my mind, and I've always said this whenever I've talked about Kevin Durant, this guy literally, he sleeps, he eats everything basketball. He loves the game. He's a student of the game. He loves watching film.
Awesome.
I remember having a conversation with Quinn Cook about how he'll go to Kevin Durant's house. Kevin Durant would literally force him to watch tape of Kobe or MJ or any all-time great. He studies the game constantly. So to see a guy that really loves the game and then absorb everything and then put it out there and execute stuff that he's wanted to do his whole life. I mean, it's a beauty to watch. You have to give him credit. I'm sure there are there's some fans and people out there that want to discredit him for going to Golden State, but to me, he's definitely one of the best scorers ever, one of the best players to play. There's no question.
LeBron did the same type of thing when he went down to Miami. By the way, I love both moves. Now, I don't necessarily love how LeBron chose to do it.
The decision.
Yeah, but I think that was ESPN's fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're
And
probably right.
then ESPN buries him for it, which is pretty fascinating after watching the whole documentary on that. But Kevin Durant going up there, wanting to win, I want people that want to win. And the fact that you tell me that when people show up at his house, he's like, hey, listen, or when another NBA guy show up, I've been watching you at practice. let's turn on some film here. You start doing shit like this, we'll be in a good spot. All right, have a good day, dude. And they leave, and then somebody, just like a team meeting is happening at his house. I love hearing that. That solidifies my thought about Kevin Durant going even more. Breaking news, I guess, is coming through. I think this was a text message that you probably received while you were doing this interview, and you passed on breaking that so you can continue to talk to us. The breaking news is Chris Paul, I guess, does have COVID. Chris Paul did have a positive test, says John Gambadoro. Sounds like Paisan here got this before you. Do you know who this guy is, Shams? And was this kind of known by everybody? Is that why you kept saying 14-day quarantine earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to be the one to reveal it. So Pat, take it for, I tried to lay it all out here.
Yeah.
Without, so.
But that means that positive test means
it's been 10 to 14 days in the regular season but these protocols have been changing, and if a player does test positive but he is vaccinated against it, it is up to how the testing goes. So I do believe it could be shorter than that 10 to 14 day window.
All right, Shams.
What do you know?
How many days?
Come on,
Shams. Guess what? There's the next series. The next series is probably going to, what do you say?
Sunday or Monday.
Sunday or Tuesday. When's the next series? That's when that one's ending, or that one? Is that when that one's?
3 games left potentially, unless one of the teams.
I told you guys there's a lot of fear, a lot of doubt. He does not start the conference finals, so we'll see how that goes.
Chris Paul will miss probably the first game of the conference finals, but then he'll be back on the other side. That is just what we have heard. Okay, that is alleged, but let's go ahead and run with that, because he did say earlier that Chris did. Hey, listen. He did have a positive test. And basically, without saying it, that's what we appreciate the hell out of
Thank you, Shams.
Thank you, Shams. Go ahead, Ty.
Shams, there's a couple coaches have gotten fired today, and I think there's also a report that John Calipari is interested in going back to the NBA. Have you heard anything about that? Do you see that as an actual possibility?
I haven't heard his name in NBA circles. I'm sure John, it seems like he pursues the NBA every 2-3 years as far as trying to get back in.
Is that right?
I have not heard his name. I think there are a lot more viable candidates.
Is that right, Shams? He tries to get back on a regular basis. This isn't big news. This is just like a normal thing in the Calipari cycle of coaching?
It has been since I started covering the league.
Really? How come he doesn't go? Is it because of lack of interest from the NBA, or is he just doing this to keep the interest? What do you think it is?
I think it's a mixture of, he's got a great gig at Kentucky, and, you see him re-sign on deals. And, it's always, I think, a game of leverage. It's a game of, I do think there has been interest from NBA teams at different points. But as of like this year and last cycle, I have not heard him as a serious candidate.
See, that's good news on why you come on the show, because none of us knew that.
Nope.
We thought this was the first time he had ever said that.
Yeah.
Cal's back.
Cal's back. Go to the NBA. He hates this. Hey, he's done with the one and dones. He's tired of grinding it out every year in the recruiting. Coach K's leaving. What are we even doing here? And by the way, there's agencies that are about to start paying high schoolers to play basketball. I don't want to compete with that. Go get your money. That's how we got people.
Smart.
Now they're going to get more money from other people. Maybe I thought this was big news. You're like, nah. Very normal here. Okay, let's keep it moving. Who's coaching Zion? Is Zion moving? What's going on? How do we get this guy? How do we get this guy on a team that at least is in a play-in game for the playoffs? And how are they looking to restructure that entire place down there in New Orleans? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I do think that
there's some other news breaking.
They're gonna be. I would look at guys like Jock Vaughn, Chauncey Billups, Jason Kidd. Those are really the names that I'm looking at as far as the next coach. But the fact that you got to look at this. The fact that the Pelicans hired Stan Van Gundy on a 4-year big money contract, and then they have to cut bait with him after one season. That is a direct reflection of that organization. And so I think this is just going to open the can of worms for the franchise.
Hey, they aren't going to like that. I get attacked whenever I say, get Zion out of there. Unless they want to bring everybody to Zion, that's cool. We need Zion on TV right now playing. Imagine Zion had a Kevin Durant night like last night. Don't the Pelicans fans want that for Zion? Doesn't he deserve that?
See it?
Doesn't he deserve that? What is the news? Is there news you're missing right now? Because it seems like there's a lot popping off in your life.
Just text messages, that's all, but nothing of note. I would say in Washington, like Scott Brooks is out. A name I would really look at, Sam Cassell. the Sixers assistant coach. So there's a nugget for you, Pat.
Okay, thank you, Sam Cassell. Congrats on the Washington win.
Good work, Sam.
Sam,
Not done.
Okay, Shams. Yeah, we overreact, though. That's what we do. Everybody knows that. Connor, what do you have?
Yeah, Shams. Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell both missed out on $33 million for not making an All-NBA team. Is that common for guys to have escalators that massive?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the case really for the last couple years, especially once the Supermax contract got instituted in the league in the last decade. So it is what it is. The All NBA is tied to media voting, and that's where some of these guys' escalators stand.
Hey, listen, do you vote for that? Do you have a vote?
I do.
Let's go, Sean!
Hey!
This is my second year voting.
Hey, that's a lot of pressure, man. You actually have to know what you're talking about, because there's a lot of responsibility in that, because there is $32 million on the line for some people and legacies and everything like that. I think the media voting for awards that actually mean something to the credibility isn't always the best idea. I mean, the Baseball Hall of Fame, riddled with controversy because media members either hold grudges or have a different standard than everybody else that's associated with the sport. The NFL All-Pro, which is a media vote thing, I always found that very interesting. I was voted All-Pro, and even when I got voted All-Pro, I was like, none of these people know why I'm
All-Pro Pat.
Now, see, Shams, but nobody knows why I deserve to be the All-Pro, though. No media member knows what I'm doing punting-wise. So it was cool, but it was also they're just voting because somebody potentially told them to vote. You got a lot of pressure in there. What I'm saying is I hope you take it serious, Shams. That's all I'm saying. And
I do.
I know you do.
Very serious.
As you do your job every single day at the Athletic in the stadium, we appreciate you so much, Shams, for keeping us informed in what's going on in the world. We don't follow that closely.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys always. Thanks, guys.
Any more news coming today or no?
I got nothing right now, but when I do, you'll see it. I'll be on.
How about, is Charles Barkley leaving? What's going on with that? Did you hear that whole story inside the NBA?
Nothing on that. I got nothing on
smart.
that.
Smart. Ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania. Hey, pick and choose, Shams. That's smart. That's smart. Imagine if he would have came in and been like, Charles Barkley, cancel culture, making him walk out. They've won, blah, blah, blah. He would have had to. That's insane life he lives in, though. He definitely... By the way, if you were listening on Sirius and not watching, there's a bunch of shit about to pop off. He was frantically looking at something off the screen.
Starts licking his lips a little bit. Okay.
Somebody else got COVID. How do we cover that without saying who it was and how they got it? That was unbelievable out of Shams. I hope he takes over the whole world over there.
He might.
Woj is going to be tough to top, I assume. And Woj definitely knows Shams.
Oh, yeah.
And in that insider world, if it's anything like the NFL, I feel like there really is a
highly competitive
feud.
Hey, there's only a couple bites at the meat on this bone here.
That's right.
Okay, so you better get in. Yeah, this is like lions out there with a hyena, getting into the food there. They very much take that super duper. Every day's a Super Bowl when they wake up. Every single news piece is a game for them. People are keeping score. It's a nightmare, I assume.
And I feel like in the NFL, you have Schefter and you have Rappaport. They're kind of like the two, but there are also a lot of and obviously Jay Glazer.
Thank you.
By the way, who's joining us in about 30 minutes?
Yeah!
Let's
go! Come on, Jay!
But there are multiple insiders now as the NFL's continue to grow. There are a bunch of people who have information. In the NBA, it basically is just Shams and Woj, I feel like.
I think the issue for those insiders, and I assume insiders have such good connections with people that we will talk to. By the way, somebody from Hollywood is in our office.
Really?
Today.
L.A.?
Yeah, we'll talk to them at some point. Somebody from Hollywood has flown in.
Here we go.
Every time a person from Hollywood flies into Indiana, it's very nice to see these.
We're not worthy.
Hey, welcome to America.
Thank you.
Welcome to America.
Welcome.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Very nice gentleman is here today. But whenever you talk, and I forget exactly what I was going to say. I was going to bury Hollywood somehow. Oh, the insiders.
Yes.
They have all the agents. Right? So it's what agent do you know? So whenever the deal is done, I think a lot of players legitimately don't know that the deal is done yet, because there is a mediator that is coming back to them to say, hey, we think this is the right deal. This is what we asked for. This is why we got that. So that information's leaked to, I think, to the high-end people like that. But all the players, I think players are going to start telling players. I think that is going to be something to happen. So those agency and league relationships are so big for the insiders because I think as the sports media continues to change, I think the players are going to start breaking their own news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's just going to start happening, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but Shams seems to be connected in all the right places. That guy's going to the top. But I think inevitably there's going to be some people that don't make it in the insider world.
Oh, yeah. More recently, I mean, for you, a pretty prominent player updated you before we saw anything else before, you know?
And by the way, I don't think his agent knew.
No.
I don't think I knew.
No idea.
I had no clue he was doing.
I don't think anyone knows.
I don't think anybody knew when Vinatieri comes in and is like, I'm retired, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What?
We would have got like, some pyro, at least maybe, some smoke, some celebration. We would have made a cake maybe for you, did the whole thing. Confetti. But Vinatieri was like, I'm fucking tired of people asking.
I'm done.
I am done. Shout out to Shams, though, keeping us informed. He definitely knew that Chris Paul was positive test. That's why he kept saying 14 or whatever.
Yep.
This song, a little beat, a little bass heavy there.
Cool for him, too, not to, being selective about the stuff that he, releases.
Got to keep those relationships up.
Based on the players.
To the point what we were just talking, you got to keep those relationships.
Right.
Because if you come out and break something that somebody doesn't want, they're like, oh, I hate you forever.
Yeah, what was it, Zeke? Didn't that happen with Zeke last year?
Which one?
Where I think he either got the vid or he got something, and he actually tweeted like, hey, what's up with HIPAA these days?
Yeah. And by the way, is it?
Yeah.
Because technically it is, a medical procedure, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is that count as patient, doctor
confidentiality? I think.
I have no idea. I want everybody to know. Hey.
Right here.
Hey. I'm allowed to fucking go right down in the Starbucks diner.
Mm-hmm.
Get me this nitro brew.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You ever heard about this?
No, nitro?
Hey, this nitro, there's a cold brew.
Okay.
Then there's this motherfucking nitro brew, dude.
Ooh.
Comes out of a goddamn tap.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Nitro brew?
It's from Hollywood, dude.
Okay.
Really?
Makes sense.
I just heard about it this morning.
Filled with booze?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It's a cold brew. Maybe though, Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Maybe they do got a little grandpa's cough medicine.
There's a dog on there.
Yeah. Like a Guinness.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
No, I guess it's just like a lager coffee that just
Sounds disgusting.
Diesel. Yeah, no thanks.
I bet it tastes good. The guy that was drinking it loved it.
Okay.
All right.
Have to ask him.
All right, we'll be back on the other side with that person, I think. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. We'll be talking to somebody from Hollywood.
Wow.
Hey, like Hollywood.
Yeah.
L.A.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, that one over there.
City of Angels.
Yeah. City of Stars.
Holy shit.
Yeah. On the other side, 4-minute break. Also your phone calls. 1-833-4-McAfee. We'll see you then. Cheers. How are ya? I'm Roman, a men's health brand that can dance very well and make you the best you possible. Are you suffering from male pattern baldness? Dahn, we got something for that. Testosterone deficiency? Boom! See ya! Premature ejaculation? Gone! No more coming too quick. Allergies as well. And that's not all. We have clinically tested supplements for everything, including erectile dysfunction. Come on! Bye-bye! GetRoman.com/Pat. Be the best you possible. I just saw a picture of you getting out of, I think, a 757 that was from Jim Irsay. What was that, and have you ever been in that plane before?
I thought it was like the team plane to fly all of the Indianapolis Colts. Literally, I mean, it's got the logo on it, Pat, and it was awesome. But look, that's just Jim. Pat, I had a wonderful 14 years there. It's obviously the team that I wanted to play for always. I understood the decision he had to make, and no hard feelings. And for him to send his plane to fly me and my son down here, it was a great gesture. A lot of room for me and Marshall. We were throwing the football. So, pretty cool experience. pretty cool father-son weekend.
By the way, as he's moving from event to event right now, you are the best, dude. Where are you headed right now?
I'm going to the game. I got Lynch, I got Faneca, I got these guys in the background.
Boys, congratulations. Yeah! Congratulations, boys. All right, Peyton. Oh, hey, there he is. Marshall, I hope you enjoyed that plane, pal. Hey, Peyton, last thing here. You talking to Tom Brady, you becoming friends with him. It was interesting to watch. Oh, yeah, take the photo. Take the photo. All right, we will wrap this up.
Well, I'll tell you, Pat, I don't think anybody can do what Tom has done. Look, I know how hard it was for me to get on the same page with my receivers, learn a new system, learn new coaches. But I had a full off season. I was injured. I was rehabbing. The fact that Tom has done this in a COVID pandemic off season, no time to meet with his receivers. He met with his coaches illegally by breaking into Byron Leftwich's house. So besides that, it's been incredible what he's been able to accomplish, and he deserves all the credit. His leadership is what's put the Bucs in this game today, and I have great respect for him because I know how hard it is, but he deserves all the credit.
Hey, how did you know Red 18 was coming?
Pat, I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you telling that story and just growing the legend. That was about the 18th time I tried it. I was 17 going into that. And, when it doesn't hit, you just keep walking. Nobody ever really tells you about it. So when it hit, I was as surprised as you were. And the reaction from some of the good old folks there in the casino that night was pretty special.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. You made me and those folks in the casino a bunch of money. Congrats on the Hall of Fame nod. Thank you for spending time. Enjoy yourself at the game, Peyton.
Pat, thanks, pal. I appreciate you.
The Sheriff, Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Just casual. Welcome back to that show. It's warming up and almost summer, which means bird dogs are back.
Hell yeah.
Bird dogs are the best and most comfortable pair of shorts that have ever existed. They stole Lululemon's designer. They said, hey, you, designing shit over there. Why don't you come on over here? We've mastered the built-in underwear thing that Lululemon nor anybody else in the history of humans could ever figure out. You put your brain with our brain, we're going to make the best shit.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Yeah, they're just doing it better. Did Bird Dogs do it again, or did Bird Dogs do it again? Go to birddogs.com and enter promo code PATSBALLS, and they'll throw in a free Bird Dogs whistle ball. Oh. That's right. You go to birddogs.com.
There it is.
And enter code Pat's Balls, and they'll throw in a free Bird Dogs whistle ball with every order. You remember those Nerf Vortex Howler footballs that whistle when you threw them?
Oh, yeah.
Michael Vick threw it out of a stadium one time.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's that, but Bird Dogs threw their logo on it and stole it.
Oh, okay.
Genius.
It's kind of Bird Dogs thing now that we're thinking about it.
Seems like they do that a lot.
Just make it better, they say.
That's
Just
right.
make it better. It's birddogs.com, promo code Pat's Balls, and boom, a free bird. God bless you. Are you all right?
Yeah.
I was about to huck a holler at you.
I know. I was waiting for it, and then I felt sneeze, and I had to kind of judge when to do it. And then
I
couldn't hold it in.
You almost got a howler to the neck.
Yeah.
I would have caught it.
I don't think so.
Best hands in the state right here.
That was nasty. That's birddogs.com. Do not throw it back.
Okay.
I am not in the state of mind. Promo code Pat's Balls, and boom, free Bird Dogs whistle ball with your pair of Bird Dogs. Shout out to Bird Dogs, dude.
Thank you, Bird Dogs.
They're shorts and pants that are very comfortable and have built-in underwear to make boxers and underwear obsolete. Shout out to Bird Dogs. Get the Howler ball. They used to give away nunchucks, and then a charcuterie board, then a hat, then a
Clogs.
the Crocs that they stole, and then now the Howler. I don't know how many cease and desist they get sent, but I assume it is
quite a few.
Pretty
Every
mighty.
day.
As we set up the microphone here for our guest that is in studio, it's not Miles Teller joining us, by the way. A lot of people thought potential Mai Tai stopping by. Miles Teller's not in the studio. We wish it was. A lot of people thinking maybe it's somebody that works in LA in the sports business. That is not it. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, a man who has Been in Hollywood for 33 years.
Jeez.
Allegedly, now we will have to get to the story here. Allegedly, one of the people that Ari Gold from Entourage, super agent, Vince's agent, was modeled after, ladies and gentlemen, from CAA, Jeff Jacobs. You're going to have to move that microphone in front of you a little bit there. Yep, perfect. Jake is the name, right?
Yes.
32 years in Hollywood. Obviously, we're potentially going to do business together, good business together, great business together, obviously. And we had been talking for a few months. Quarantine, he was locked down. We were locked down. He made his first trip out here to Indiana to say hello to us. What a day, boys.
What a day.
What a
Incredible.
day. Hey, he walked here, too, through the streets, got that nitro brew.
Wow.
Came in, looked outside, first time seeing him in real. We'd seen the photos. Hey, you've lost weight.
Yeah.
The internet did not really do you justice. You look good over there. Come in, and what do? We just start peppering with Hollywood questions. You rep Jimmy Fallon. I believe Mr. Baldwin's in there at some point. I think Lorne
Michaels.
I believe. Like, you are the guy, 33 years. Thank you so much for literally coming in. Like, legitimately. Hey, thanks for making
Hey,
the
we
trip.
appreciate it.
Thanks for making the trip, Jake.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And as you did say, we've been locked down in Los Angeles, and this is the first business trip. And I took a red eye last night for the first time in over 2 years. And for people who fly the red eye, as you know, the red eye from LA to Indianapolis is not really a red eye. It's like a hop. It's like a mini nap. So
yeah, 3.5, 4 hours.
It was easy. It was 3:20 last night with tailwind. So,
hey, I did not know we were that close to LA, by the way.
No.
Hopefully, I don't know. Hey, listen, I'm all about global warming and all that, but if it's going to give us tailwinds from LA to Indy, and then maybe it could flip back around in Indy to LA,
Not bad.
That would be fantastic to get out there. We do appreciate you coming out here.
No, it's awesome to be here, and it's a lot of fun to see meet you in person. We've been talking on the phone and video in for a bunch of months. It's fantastic to be here. It's fantastic to meet the crew and see the operation, and I'm sure they're going to have plenty of things to say and ask me. And I did walk here, and I have been here a few times, and I told you when I came in, when you come from the airport, you see Lucas Field. For any sports fan, just to see that in person,
Big.
It's
a big mall.
with when Peyton and you played the Colts, and then all the Final Fours that were always there, and just Lucas Field has become one of those places. If you're a sports fan, when someone says Lucas Field,
Lucas Oil Stadium.
Lucas Oil, right? Like,
what you were saying.
Right.
Yeah,
By the way,
we got the sentiment.
Yeah, we got the sentiment. I mean, you hammered it home a little bit late there, so kind of went the different way.
Right.
But I understand what you're saying, because you are a college basketball fan, big
Yes.
time college basketball fan. You enjoy that, but normally not in the sports world, right? So the way he and I got linked up basically is because in our particular world, there's not a lot of humans that are like us, right? There's not a lot of shows that are like us. There's not a lot of things like us. We have scripts that are written. I mean, there is a lot of things like that come out of this very stupid office, and we got a chance to chat with you, and we Googled you, obviously. And anybody that's going to do business with us, like, obviously we have to know who they are and everything like that, and it's nice to meet you. But man, you have some legendary fucking stories about you. I mean, the fact that Ari Gold, which is almost basically the blueprint for what we're kind of doing right now. Now, a couple of my boys from back home, 3 of them, and then a new batch of dudes basically that I'm friends with, and we just kind of do that whole thing. Are you just a fucking maniac in those meetings? Were you the one that was firing the paintball gun? Were you the one that was firing? Why is it? Is that because you're just energetic? You're everywhere because you have a great assistant that you can just chew out and mow down, or it's because Vince was on a Mentos commercial and then he was starring a Med E, and is that why that whole thing?
well,
What is it?
with Entourage, should I just go there? Is that
Yeah, please. Please.
So first of all credit on Entourage has to go to Doug Allen, who created the show, who was the writer.
You know him?
Yeah. So Doug Allen, this is totally true. We went to the same summer camp in upstate New York in the Berkshires. He was a camper of mine.
Feels like this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And classic Jewish geography. Okay, in the simplest form, coastal Jewish geography. And Doug was a camper, and when he's younger than I, he came to Hollywood. We got in business together, and I was one of his agents. He had an idea for a show with his then manager, Steve Levinson, and it was when Doug originally pitched it. I remember we were having lunch, and restaurant's not there anymore. It was called the Manhattan Wonton Company. It was a Chinese restaurant. It was a old style New York style Chinese restaurant that a guy opened to replicate what he ate on Sunday nights when he was growing up, and it became sort of a popular spot. And they laid this show out, and obviously a lot of it is inspired by Mark Wahlberg and Mark's crew. But Doug at that time was very, very close friends with David Schwimmer, who at the time was at the height of the Friends situation when Friends was being watched by 35, 40 million people a night, which is sort of an incredible amount of people if you think about it.
Yeah, that's NFC Championship.
Right, exactly. And so it was really supposed to look at sort of, the culture that existed around, stars, right? And what happened when you were with the star and what happened, when you were not. And the original idea was, and Doug will have his own version of this, but my takeaway was when you rolled with the star, you had access to private planes and access and restaurants and clubs. And when you weren't with the star and, you were, going on a date or you were, trying to do things, you didn't have those things, right? And you didn't have free access and the right tables and people weren't sending food over to your table. And it was supposed to be the look at sort of the two worlds. It ultimately morphed. Doug took it creatively, more into sort of the world around, a star. Obviously, Mark Wahlberg is the inspiration for it. A lot of people ask me, a lot of people get written when Doug wrote the original treatment, which I have in a file cabinet in my office, which I'm looking forward to going back to in July. My name is in the original treatment as sort of the impetus for the Ari Gold character. And the truth of the matter is, by the time it got developed, and it took a year and a half to 2 years for the project to come to fruition. Doug reworked it. They had Sex and the City on HBO at the time, if you remember. And it was a female buddy comedy.
Yeah.
And HBO was looking. Arliss had been off the air, if you remember Arliss. Show with Robert
Great show.
But then it was they wanted to have a male buddy comedy show on HBO.
So it's perfect.
So this was the idea, and originally when Doug developed it, you were really never going to see the Vince character. It was going to be about E and the guys, and it was always supposed to be. And then they realized you had to see Vince, right? You had to see the star.
Yeah.
And Mark Wahlberg was represented at the time by Ari Emanuel, who runs Endeavor, and I represented Doug, and we all took the meeting together. And the original character's name in the first couple drafts was Ari Jacobs.
Your last name, his first
right,
name.
Exactly. Wow. And we both had to sign releases with Business Affairs of HBO that they could use our name. Just totally true.
And then they just kicked you out.
And
Mark Wahlberg.
Come on.
Oh, man. Ari Emanuel said, hey,
why did I know this was going to happen when I got into this?
No, but I will say that's fucking awesome. And that was just a small part of our research about you whenever we were thinking about getting into business, because Entourage, by the way, is a show that literally inspired me. And also, I think it taught a lot of people about what Hollywood was potentially like for people that didn't want to maybe move to Hollywood, but had potential, interest in that world. It was a fucking great show.
And Doug deserves the credit. And to Jeremy Piven's credit, when the original deal was made, he was not a series regular. He was a recurring character. And so they did not have him under contract for all the episodes. And right from the pilot, he just obviously chewed up the screen and his performance. And there's a scene in the pilot, if you remember, where him and E meet for sushi. If you go back to the pilot episode, and it's at that moment when you see the pilot, you're like, okay, the show may be supposed to be about Vince and supposed to be about E, but you're watching. You can't take your eyes off
Ari. Yeah. And by the way, he's supposed to be Ari Jacobs.
Right.
But
Jeremy won, I think, 3 Emmys. I think
something like that.
Two or 3 Emmys for best supporting actor.
So we have to get to Jay Glazer, another incredible Hollywood figure, obviously, here on the other side of this break here, and as hour one wraps up here. But whenever you think about flying to Indiana to potentially do business with me and this crew, and whenever you size that next to Doug Ellen writing Entourage and Jimmy Fallon,
Lorne Michaels
doing everything, what is your initial thought just walking into the office this morning? We got about a minute here.
I'll do it quick. The reason I came here and wanted to see, and I told you this, was, in my job, you got to see it and touch it to understand what's going on, right? You can't do it from a screen. We've all gotten very efficient in COVID, but it's not the same thing as being out in the world and seeing people do their thing. And I came here because you guys you're not onto something. It's happening. It's going on. And so I just wanted to see it and meeting the crew and meeting the guys. And I'm sure they're going to have plenty of crap. And I'm going to get crap about the fact that I asked someone to throw a wet, sweaty Starbucks cup out.
Me. And I was like, oh, that is Ari Gold.
I thought I was being polite because I was raised by parents appropriately, that I didn't want to just leave junk on your bar out there. He, of course, your guy here, of course, has turned it on me that I'm some Hollywood guy. I thought I was just being human, but what do I know, right? So and I'm sure my children are watching this right now, thinking to myself, thank God, Dad wasn't. Thank God, Grandma and Grandpa didn't raise an animal and stuff like that.
Well, hour one's wrapped up. Thanks for throwing that away.
Hey, anytime, Howard.
Back on the other side. We are still live on YouTube right now. Okay, so we're off on Sirius. But I would like to get your thoughts immediately upon while you walked over here, as you were walking here, and then as soon as the door opens, because I saw you pull the door, and then it took us a little bit for me to open that door. You looked around, which everybody does, by the way, because our front of our office is pretty hilarious looking. But as soon as the door opens and you see this, with everything you've accomplished, literally, did you ever think what the fuck did I do wrong? Did that ever happen when you walked in here?
No, not at all. Not whatsoever. The truth, well, first of all, as I told you, I walked, as you know, during the pandemic, one of the things I've done, you were commenting, I've lost weight. I walk a lot, as you know, since we talk on the phone quite a bit in the morning when I walk. So to get out and walk after red eye, I've always learned is a great experience just to get the body moving. And then, to pound the nitro brew, which you've talked about. The smooth nitro
somebody
brew.
sent it to me. It has nitrogen in it, just like Guinness. It's a stout, not a lager.
Right.
Ooh.
They only sell you grande because it's sort of extra, but I get it in a venti cup and I pour it over ice. I can never have too much ice in any iced beverage for myself personally.
Yeah, bingo. Especially when the ice gets small.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
Don't come through the cup, by the way.
I see you drink a Trenta. You drink the gigantic one and stuff like that.
Yeah, two of them a day.
Right.
No liquid cane sugar. That's right. So I'm healthy.
When I walked over here and you told me it was sort of an old building or a warehouse that had been reformatted. So I knew it was going to have a clubhouse feel. But I didn't know exactly what it was. But you've shot videos and I've seen the basketball court. And I actually was on a clip that you put out 10 days ago. I was on an audio feed. We were on the phone, and you posted it, and I made it clear to you that I hadn't given approval for my audio track to be on your Twitter feed. And you were like, what are you talking about? No, I as I said to you, and I said to you last week, and I said, I've been there 33 years, and I know for myself, and everyone's different, For me, you got to go out and see and touch and feel and listen and pay attention.
What do you say to people about it, literally? About just us, because I've been on a couple convos alongside you. You have put me into conversations, by the way, that all of us think are ridiculous and I should not be in. So we're very thankful for the people that you have, had me. And it's inevitably going to help all of us forever, including my family. So, I appreciate you a lot. But being in the business for 33 years, I don't understand how you can understand what we do better than a lot of the young people we have worked with that don't fully get it either. I feel like we're a very different operation. Now, granted, Barstool. We're a different operation than Barstool, although I learned a lot from Dave and Erica and Big Cat and PFT and KFC and everybody over there. We got a chance to learn a lot from people over there. But we're not the same as them either. And Outkick just got sold. We're nowhere near the same as them as a business because they're a blog, a website. We're a show, basically, that has other shows. The ability for you to kind of figure it out, I think, is probably why you've been around for 33 years. But I want to let you know, we appreciate the people that you've put us in conversations with. I don't know how the fuck you get those conversations to happen, and they will all come out in a documentary someday. But I don't know how you get these people to take time to talk to me, but I really do appreciate it.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. That's it's very generous of you to say. It's I'll give you three quick things, and then I'll shut up and let you do the rest of the show, because your fans and your viewers and your listeners don't need to listen to me blather.
Yeah, but this will be ripped 10 years from now for a doc. So this is very important.
First of all, I'd say that this is true. Is that I had parents who helped make me very curious, and I read newspapers and we went to sporting events and we watched TV and we argued at our dinner table, and we were actually allowed to curse at our dinner table, which all my friends thought was hilarious. I'm 57, so this is not as modern a day. And we lived outside of, I was telling the guys, I grew up outside of New York in Tenafly, New Jersey, which is just outside a commuter suburb. We went to the theater and we were in the city a lot. So my parents spurred curiosity. in me, and just be curious. Number two is I've always loved media. I've always been a consumer. I've always been like an avid reader, watcher. I always loved TV, movies. I just like consuming everything. Radio, I just liked it, and then the third thing is, I was, it isn't gonna sound corny and you're gonna make fun of me and your guys are gonna, I wanted to be a sportscaster growing up. That's what. Well, no, I wanted to play for the New York Knicks when I was growing up. Walt Frazier was my guy. And then when you're 10 years old, you realize, oh, my mom's 5 feet tall. There's not a lot of white Jewish guys who play for the Knicks, right? So you give that up
a little
quickly.
Self-awareness,
right? And
you're curious, but
right. And so then I went to Northwestern and I have a master's in journalism, and I wanted to be Marv Albert. Because Marv Albert, when I was growing up, was the voice of WNBC 6 and 11 News. This is before ESPN. Voiced the Knicks and Rangers. He had the greatest job of all time, Marv Albert. And I tried to be a sportscaster. I went around the country, small places that many people, Wheeling, West Virginia, Medford, Oregon, Bangor, Maine, places where I grew up, never went. Knocked on news directors' doors, didn't get a job. I'd probably be in like Market 81 Green Bay fighting you to talk to Aaron Rodgers if I had been successful. I would have been good at it.
You would have won, by the way.
It did not happen. At 24 and a half, inflection moment, go to law school and I moved to LA, and people said, I got great advice. People said, if you don't know what you want to do, you go to an agency. Now, back then, a big agency, CA was, the second or third biggest agency. We had 120 people. And I got there, I got a job, been there 33 years, and we've been allowed to just go, and this is to answer your question, long-winded, go get in business with talented people who are great storytellers, and then figure out how the hell that works against the world. If you represent talented people who are great storytellers in our business, in our company, you meet interesting people, and then you start moving people together, and you create opportunities. So I was fortunate and lucky.
Well, I want to let you know I appreciate you. Very thankful for you. Hopefully we can continue to tell very dumb stories and hopefully grow this thing. But there are conversations that you have put me in with people that I could have never, ever fathomed. I wear, to let everybody know, I do wear tank tops in these things. I do wear jorts in these conversations. I assume that's the first that you have experienced in that entire biz.
What I would say to you is that, and I've been married for 26 years in a month, and my wife is our CEO. My wife at times does refer to you as Tank.
Tank. Well, tell your wife I said hello. Cannot wait to meet her one time. And
she's the CEO. She runs it. So when she says stuff, we listen in our family. And if I know my son's watching while he's working, and my girls may be listening. But no.
Tell her the pipes do not burst.
Here's what I'll leave you with. The world today, this is the great part of our job. The great part of my job is the world has changed so much that the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing a version of that yourself, and that's what's exciting. I know that's corny, but that's the truth.
I mean, you live in Hollywood, so some of it is going to be a bit corny. But we appreciate the hell out of you, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Jacobs.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. I know you probably have business, so feel free to skirt out whenever the hell you want. We appreciate you. Because right now, in at least a couple moments here, we're going to be joined by a guy who has all the inside information. Yes. Whether he chooses to release it or not, that is up to Jay fucking Glazer. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Fox insider, a man who's been around the NFL forever, also a founder of Merging Vets and Players, an incredible foundation, merging veterans from the military and retired players to create that community again. He's featured in GNC now, alongside all GNCs. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Glazer.
Yeah!
What up? Hey, the beard looks awesome. Hey.
Yeah, that's my off-season look. I feel like a grown-up.
Yeah, you look good. Like, I hope that, now you see that gray that you have there? You see that? I hope I have that. I got little spurts of it. I hope I have the full silver, the full silver bad boy.
Trust me, as much as stress I have, shit. If you have that, you'll get it. Trust me.
Okay, you got it.
Stress, baby. It's stress. Hey, is Ty back from his wedding?
Yeah, Ty is back from his weekend trip. How you doing?
Are you guys still married?
I actually haven't got married yet. That's next weekend.
That was a bachelor weekend, I believe.
Yeah, that was my bachelor party.
Oh, so it hasn't happened yet. So she still has time to get out of this.
Yes.
Hypothetically, yes, she does.
So I know you guys bet a lot. What are the odds that you're actually going through with this?
No, pretty good. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
really?
Caitlin and Ty, I mean, they are a great tag team, but I think there are some other relationships potentially that we know of that we go, probably not going to make it, but not this one. This one feels good, Jay. You were married, right?
For a whopping 10 months.
How's that happen? Though? It just.
Hey, Pat, let's not get into that, brother.
Well, Jay, we're congrats on the marriage. I hope you're both in a better place now. But let's talk about.
Hey, that was 2004. So how about this though? I think that was 2005 to 2006. This whole time, according to Wikipedia and Google, I've been married, which is totally fucked me when you're a single guy.
Yeah,
so then
yeah.
they look you up and it says you're married, and it took actually Fox PR finally got me unmarried this year, like a month ago. This whole time, I couldn't get it off Google or Wikipedia.
Hey, welcome
So now-
back.
Yeah. Congrats.
Welcome back, Jay. The Heat,
Thank you,
ladies.
thank you.
He's single. All right, Jay. Let's talk about the merging vets and players in GNC because that's awesome. I mean,
Thank you, brother.
whenever I used to see you in the LA gym that used to before you opened Unbreakable or whatever, you were working with Chuck and a lot of NFL guys, and the community was a big part of what you were preaching there. And then Unbreakable, it really became a community for like the stars almost. A lot of big time players that lived in LA would train there. Stars would then train there. Then you guys had a lot of people inviting the vets in. I believe Green Beret.
Nate Boyer.
Nate Boyer.
Nate Boyer's a part of that. He was inviting vets. You created this community over there, then a foundation that's now on GNC. You should. Thank
you.
I know you weren't single on the internet when you started that, but that's really cool stuff, Jay. You should feel good about that.
You know what, Pat? But here's the thing. You and I talked about this a little bit. And, I've been in the league since 93, just covering the Giants. And, man, I always say, like, my baby sister, Michael Strahan, and I, we've just seen way too many of our friends in the NFL just go by the wayside when the uniform comes off. And, you and I talked a little bit about it. I wish, like, you're successful because you used what made you beat out millions and millions and millions to play in the NFL. You use that in your next step of life. Too many of these players don't do that. And it's not the uniform that made you great. What's behind your ribcage, that makes you different. And the commonality with these NFL players and our war fighters, our veterans, when their uniform comes off, too many of them are lost. Too many of them forget what their greatness is. And again, it's not that uniform. It's what you already have behind you. But who reminds you of that? So, in a locker room, they can remind you of that. When you lose your locker room, man, the world's a scary place these days, right? With social media and you're comparing yourself to everybody else's filtered fraction of a second. It's bullshit. But how are you supposed to feel good about your life, especially when you lose that locker room? So we're putting this locker room back together. We're in 6 cities now. We're about to open our 7th. Man, the number of suicides that we've been able to prevent, the number of people we've been able to save, they've saved me. I've talked to you guys openly about my depression, anxiety. They've saved me a shit ton. And what's interesting, because we just had a big summit out here at my house. We brought in all our employees together to kind of, big deal trying to, how we're going to move forward. And, I told these vets, I said, look, when our players hear your stories, they're like, oh my God, right? And one of our vets said, well, you know what? When we're in war, these athletes, they saved us. Because when we come back from a mission, we can't wait to watch a football game or to watch a fight. And back then, some of them had there's VCR tapes and DVD tapes. And they said that has really helped us, saved us in war. So it's time that we save them now.
Man.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's amazing, Jay. It's really cool. I did not know you had grown to so many cities. Excited to see where you are for the 7th one. Fucking awesome, Jay. Hey, that's really, really cool, Jay. I want to let you know that. And that thing you said about the locker room telling you, hey, you're all right or whatever is a big deal. I know there's a lot of gifs and stuff like that of that player in the game actually grabbing that guy's jaw and lifting it up or whatever instead of him sulking. And I would never, ever do that in a million years. But those moments in a locker room where somebody says, hey, fucking get over it, dude. You're all right. That's a big deal. And sometimes whenever you lose that reminder, I'd assume a spiral could potentially start. So I appreciate you, Jay. Let's talk a little
Thank you, brother.
Can we talk a little football now? Hey, let's talk some football,
Let's
Jay.
start with boy Aaron. When's the last time you talked to Aaron?
Okay, fascinating question, Jay. Are you trying to get a scoop from me right now, Jay?
I'm talking to you.
Jay Glazer obviously is a man who he gave us some information the day of the Aaron news about 6 hours before, 7 hours before or whatever. And he's like, hey, what's going on? Something's going on. I'm like, whoa. So hashtag Jay New was born through that. What do you know? I have not heard from him on any front.
Well, here's the thing, all right? Mark Murphy comes out the other day. This is what I don't get. What do you do? Why are you poking the bear? And for Mark Murphy to come out the other day and say our fan base is divided, what fan base would that be? Who out there in Green Bay is going, Man, this is a huge controversy. I think maybe it's time to go to Jordan Love. Fucking nobody. Like, you don't, like, why are you doing that, man? You know who the guy is. You know what your quarterback's makeup is. Why come out and say, well, he's a different fella. And
Complicated.
Complicated fella. Like, just why? The only thing you should be saying right now is, Aaron, we love you. Man, we got to put this back together. Because when you don't have a quarterback in this league, life sucks, right? It sucks. And suddenly you don't know how to coach. Suddenly you don't know how to pick players. Suddenly you can't do your job. When you got a quarterback in this league, you're a lot smarter. You know how to pick players. You're a much better coach. And then when your quarterback happens to be the MVP, you're even that much smarter. You can pick that much better players. Like, dude, what are you doing? There's no divided fan base over that. Right? Don't like just I don't get it. I don't understand why they continue to fuck with him.
Jay, so I heard from an insider on the television the other day after the complicated fella, after the divided thing, and then now, Aaron has because Mark Murphy came out and said we're not going to make this public even after saying that the audience or the crowd or the fans are divided or whatever. He said we're not going to be public. Then he made it public. Then he went public. Yeah, complicated fella. Aaron talked on a thing yesterday wearing the I'm Offended shirt, which is a YouTuber. I don't know his name that Aaron is a fan of. Shout out to him. But he said, I don't normally get the option. He's kind of been quiet about this whole thing. So the only thing we really know about any of this situation is what insiders say, whether it's James Jones who says he thinks it could get fixed. AJ says he thinks it could get fixed. And then we saw on TV, Mazzioano broke on ESPN. The lower third said there are people around the NFL who don't want this Aaron Rodgers situation to be successful for Aaron because they don't want the NFL to turn into the NBA where the stars get to pick and choose what they do and everything like that, I guess is what they were alluding to. What is the word around?
No. Here's the thing. If you're in the NFC, man, you're hoping this thing gets it implodes and they get him traded. Every NFC coach you talk to go, what's going on with the Aaron situation? Man, I hope that thing blows up. If you're in the NFC, you're sitting there going, man, I really hope they can put it together. So just be careful who you talk to. I know he still wants out, without a doubt. Absolutely. Still wants out. Oh, and, there are
put it on the ticker. Yeah. Put it on the Hey, Jay, we got to put it on the ticker. Out. Hey, Jay, we have to put it on the ticker, what you just said.
Ahead. Of course he still wants out, though. They didn't suddenly come out and insult him and go, okay, now it's fixed.
I guess that wouldn't make much sense. You're 100%. Right. I guess that wouldn't make sense. You're right. What do you think happens? How do you think it plays out? Is there teams really interested? Allegedly, the Broncos.
Absolutely.
Have they made offers?
A couple teams interested.
Is there offers been made? Have offers been made, do you think?
No, because it didn't even go that far because every time somebody called the Packers, it was immediately shut down. So, look, what these teams need to do is continue to call, whether it's for him, Deshaun Watson, any of the guys, continue to call to show interest because what happens in the NFL is teams are so afraid to make the first call because they think you lose your leverage. But a lot of times, if you call a team for a player that's not available, but the player is giving you have troubles with them, a lot of times these teams will go, all right, you know what? They keep calling. If they catch you on the right day, you sit there and go, and players have been traded this way, go, you know what? We have another offer here. Let's just get rid of the headache right now. Let's just move on. But if no one calls, you don't really have that option to do it. So there's always this game of chicken that goes on.
Yeah, because in Art of War, you can't lose leverage.
Look at you.
Yeah, no big deal, dude. Be where they don't think you're going to be. Be
kind of a big deal around here right now.
Hey, be strong when you're weak. Be weak when you're strong. The whole I get it, but that is something that potentially puts you into a bind leverage-wise if you call out because you potentially look desperate. But what you're saying is hey, that's not the case because the people in charge, they might also be desperate at the moment, exactly. And you might be catching up to a situation they're in. That's interesting. How do you know that stuff? Because you hear trades that happen and then the post stories.
This has happened in the past.
Yeah, but you hear post stories afterwards. We didn't want to call. We didn't know anybody was in the game. Is that what happens? People have buyer's remorse?
Yeah. And there's been people that have been players have been traded in that situation where they tell you no. Then all of a sudden, man, he gets traded. And what happens? You know what? It just, man, we didn't see how this was going to get fixed. There was an out right there for all of us, and we took it.
Got it.
Right, but if you don't make those calls, that's not really available. So, but again, this is a situation we really shouldn't be talking about. The Packers should do whatever they possibly can to fix this with them. Yeah. They really should. Just be careful what you wish for. I know they look and go, maybe we'll move on from Aaron, but after he has the type of year he has last year, you got to run this in the ground. And as long until those wheels fall off, you got to go with them.
I agree, because you look Peyton, we move on from Peyton. There's Luck sitting there. He goes and wins the Super Bowl, goes to another one. You look at, and by the way, people can say Peyton won that or not. He went to an organization that built a defense and a team around him where he won. You look at Tom, obviously his first year out. He's making decisions. He's calling plays. He's doing things. They win a Super Bowl. It's just, I understand that it has happened in the past where a great player has gone on to go somewhere else. Brett Favre, right, is another one where he had success.
Yeah.
But it's like, at this point, shouldn't we learn from that and be like, even if we view them as acting out of control, we don't get to decide what the greatest player on earth gets to act like. Like that, listen, it's right now, it's like, hey, if this is what he wants, like, okay, we should listen to that because we've learned in the past that it could potentially end up bad, but I'm happy you're on the same side as us. Jason Glazer, do you have a question, Todd?
Yes, we got it.
Yeah, I do. Jay, do you know, we heard yesterday, we were talking to Dan Orlovsky, and he said basically that he thinks Trey Lance should just start for the Niners. Do you see that actually happening? Like, have you heard anything about how he's doing at camp so far, and what are they going to do with Jimmy G?
So here's the thing. If I'm them, look, Kyle's system is really complicated. So to throw him in there right now, probably not the smartest thing, and I think they know that. I don't think I don't think they drafted him with the intention of going with him right now. They want to make sure that he learns for a while under Kyle. Again, Kyle's system is very complicated. But once you get it, right? You tear things up. So I think their plan right now is to go with Jimmy G. But also, I think it's way too early to say anything because they haven't done anything. I mean, when you run around in shorts and a helmet, everybody looks good.
Hold on. So to that point, how do you feel about Nagy with this Andy Dalton plan? Is that just to take the pressure off of Justin Fields, or why do you think he's coming out and saying we have to execute our plan? We have a plan. Andy Dalton's a starter, which, by the way, do whatever you got to do. But everybody has a plan until what, Jay?
So you get punched in the mouth.
Bingo. What if they lose a game or two and they have to alter their plan then? It's like, why not just keep an open mind there? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, but it's the same thing. They haven't seen these guys, right? You haven't had a single practice yet. You don't know. And you and I have both seen way too many quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
They look great on paper, and they come in this league, and they can't process anything. And they're terrible. And all of a sudden, live bullets are flying. They're like, oh, my. Kyle is a way different speed than up here. So if they can't process it on this level, but how do you make a decision without even seeing these guys in a single practice? These aren't practices right now. This is not even close to practice. This is like shadow boxing at 1/10 the pace.
Yeah, Jay,
right? No one's throwing punches.
Jay, I agree. That's why whenever he came out and he even doubled down, he was like, there's no chance, basically. What if Justin Fields is just a guy? What if Andy Dalton, just forgets how to play for some reason? Like, I just think right now making these proclamations are interesting, but it's happening in New England, which I assume, Connor, you'd like to ask about.
Yeah, I was wondering actually about the guys sitting out. Stephen Gilmore, Chandler Jones, Jamal Adams, Xavier Howard. All these guys are holding out right now. Do you expect them all to get paid, or do you think some of them will at least be on the move?
I think a couple, Gilmore, I don't see that happening.
Don't see what happening.
Man, Howard, I don't think they're going to extend him. I don't think Xavier Howard either down there. I think Jamal Adams, without a doubt. Chandler, probably. But also, this is just, these are mini camps. Guys make a statement. I've seen guys miss all training camp. Tony Gonzalez missed all the training camp 1 year and all the preseason. Came in, I think his first game, he dropped like 158 yards or something like that. So we saw last year also, a lot of guys just don't do the camp like you need to. Used to need camp because you had to, look, you got to build your culture out there, but also when it was all full hitting, you had to get your body used to it, right? You had to spar. And now, just don't spar that much. So it's not as, I don't think it's as.
Certain positions, right, Jay? Certain positions.
Yeah. I didn't go. They got to see they obviously have to see, you need kind of that feel, but some of those veterans, my point is you don't really need so much. If they're holding out of camp.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
So
don't worry about it.
Stephon Gilmore, I think we knew that for the last couple years.
Yep.
No. Last year at the trade deadline, it was crazy. Last year, and I had this listing, and I put it on Fox. He listed his house last year before the trade deadline and said offer or must be an escrow buy, and the date he gave and the time was 4 p.m. the day of the trade deadline. So I actually had the listing and put it out on Fox. Like, I don't, and I know that's not how real estate works. It's like, okay, I get traded. I need this done by,
I know it's not how real
I
estate
need an escrow by the time, or I need an offer by the time the trade deadline comes. But it's pretty hilarious. That's how it was listed. Didn't say trade deadline. but it was the time and day of the trade deadline where he listed his house by.
Okay, so him, we kind of expected maybe a holdout to come. Xavier Howard, I think that came out of nowhere, but they just paid the other corner.
No, that's not out of nowhere.
No,
he's been kind of
It's 2 years into us. Isn't he?
Teams are calling about him for the trade. They were calling about him before the draft. They were calling about him last year. His name got thrown about in the trade during the trade deadline. That's not out of left field.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag J new. Hashtag J new. Hashtag J new. Hashtag J new. J new.
You guys are such dicks.
No. But you did know, literally.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys! I told you, y'all killed me in this because I do know.
I know. By the way,
that's the whole thing about being this insider. You get all this info and you decide, when am I going to put something out? When am I not? And look, I told you, the guys like Schefter and Rappaport and those guys, I did that minute by minute shit first, like long time ago. Now it's like, all right, let me just make sure I put the good stuff out on Fox NFL Sunday. But a lot of it also is like, when you don't put a certain story out, you get 3 other big stories that could use down the way. Just don't ever burn anybody in this business. And
Jay, listen, I want to let you know, Jay, we know that, and that is why, like, it might have at the beginning for our listeners, and I think even for maybe some people, that it was like not real, but literally it feels like you fucking know everything that's going on because of how long you've been around, and we appreciate that. With that being said, is the Chandler Jones holdout because he saw J.J. Watt just get paid $30 million? Is that what happened?
Well, I think even before that, I think, these guys are going to try and strike when they can, right, and what they are. So I tell you what, though, just talking to people over there, man, JJ's already made a monstrous difference over there. Just kind of in the attitude over there, the work, all that stuff. Just he's made a huge difference over there already. And it's look, we just went through a year where it was hard to build culture, right? Culture's huge, man. You got to be able to lay it down for your brothers on your right and left, and if you don't have that culture, it's hard. So in a year where you're kind of all coming back together, and you could reestablish a culture, I think that's where JJ's value comes in just as much as what he could do on the field.
Okay, Jay, we appreciate you so much, man. The Julio Jones ending up in the AFC South, not for the Colts, was a heartbreaker for me. What a
Hey, they were trying so, and they were talking to teams about future ones, like 2023, 2024, and they weren't able to get that, and, they end up, look, his contract was a big play in that, where teams were kind of pull up. And then I think him, being banged up last year, Julio Jones is a freaking monster, as we know, dude. And that's you just kind of looking to go. I know that the Falcons were strapped in salary cap. They kind of needed to do that. And Tennessee picking him up, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, you're damn right it is. And the Colts had the cap, and guess what? We had every first from 2030 to 2040 too. He'd give him a 2031 first rounder, a 2032 first rounder. No, I can't wait to see that. Jay, we appreciate you popping out of your hibernation this offseason and joining us, bub.
Let's keep doing it, man. I love y'all, Pat. Hey, I got to get you more involved with MVP. We got to get players from all sports to understand what you did in your transition, because you guys, listen, y'all spilled this blood out there. You deserve to enjoy the transition, man.
Well,
you all deserve it.
I appreciate that. I'm trying my best. I would love to help out whenever, however you need me. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Glazer.
Yeah!
Love you too, man.
Ty, good luck in the wedding, bro.
Hey, appreciate it, Jay.
Last more than me. Trust me. More than 10 months. Go do it.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
All right, now fuck it.
Hey, thank you,
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
That was awesome. What a moment there. I love Jay. Hashtag Jay News, real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever we started, because I didn't know Ty had a Jay Glazer impersonation, by the way.
Me neither.
That came out of nowhere on the show. And, this show can 3.5, 4 hours every single day. There are some things that can maybe get a bit repetitive. So when something brand new pops into the scene, something that I was not expecting at all, we laughed our asses off to a Jay Glazer impression.
Oh, yeah.
So then obviously I had met Jay before, and I knew he had a good personality or whatever. I'm like, so I'd always say, we love Jay. I guess a lot of people, though, that were potentially listeners of the show and followers of the show, every time he would tweet, they would come in as Ty, as Jay Glazer underneath. And, it's been cool to kind of, I don't want to say learn more about Jay, but he and I have been in much more contact since we've started having him on this show. he's a fuck. He literally does know though, and he just like chooses to not do stuff. I'll get a text from him every once in a while. It's like, look out, and I'm like, what? And then like an hour later, something happens. It's like hashtag Jay knew.
Yeah, well,
Jay knew.
Like you said, I mean, you don't have the job that he has, and you're not in the position that he has if you don't have those relationships built up. Because after a while, it's just like, all right, well, this guy doesn't know, but he does know.
I wonder. Because he was the insider on TV there for a bit.
Yeah.
OG.
And as social media has grown and we learn stuff instantly, like I wonder how he had to change his strategy in that whole thing, because he said, I got to break the big ones on Fox NFL Sunday or whatever. In the world that we're in, ain't nothing waiting until Sunday, know? So the fact that that's still good for Jay. I love talking to him though.
He's the man.
I think he has a good time too. I think Jay has a good time.
That MVP thing is so cool. Too.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I've gotten a chance to be in the same room as a session it was at. I was actually working out at the time at his gym because my former college roommate and teammate was a trainer at his gym. So that's kind of how I got linked up. I was actually trying to lift. They were doing something over there. I was throwing around hang cleans, by the way, I think 335 or something.
Jesus.
And then, by the way,
dropping them real
full
high.
drop.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's some real shit going on over here. And I think, who's the guy from the Cowboys? He was married to one of the reality shows, Orlando Scandrick.
Yep.
He was working out as well there. That was the first time I got to meet him. We started competing in some box jumps and shit. It was an awesome time. And then in the other side, there was a full, I think a life-changing thing going on. I'm like, Jay Glazer, what a fucking place you're running over here. I think Wiz Khalifa had just walked out of the gym right before I got there. I saw him walking down the street.
DC was there, right? Cormier?
Yeah, Cormier was the same day, and he was wearing a shirt that said, I break bones. And at that moment, I had just got done partying with John Bones Jones in Baltimore, literally 2 weeks before that. So I'm in this gym throwing things around, and I see this guy who looks like Gary Brackett walking in. I'm like, okay, that guy, I break bones. I'm like, who's he a trainer for? They're like, no, that guy, he's fighting John Jones. I'm like, that guy should not be fighting John Jones. And then he started training. I was like, oh, okay. That guy is not like I thought he was.
Yeah.
That guy might break bones out there.
Sneaky athletic.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think Demi Lovato came in and out while I was there. Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, Jay Glazer's fucking just crushing it, living his life, not breaking the minute-to-minute stuff. Just go ahead and what Rappaport's doing for his offseason. Right now he said he's golfing and stuff like that. Jay Glazer at some point, I would assume 2 decades into it, was like, all right, I'm going to start doing more of this.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys whenever the season starts, whenever there's actual news to break. All this other shit that you guys have to cover on a daily basis, a bunch of minuscule things that don't matter. And I'm like, Jay, I just found that out, and I chose for this to be my day-to-day. This shit we talk about on day-to-day is just absolute bullshit.
It really is, though. But then once you get to the season, you get that juice through February or March.
Boom. And by the way, all the bullshit stories, everything we're going through right now, the bullshit waters that we are currently, what's that called?
Sailing?
Wading?
Yeah, wading in the water.
Yeah. The waters, the bullshit waters that we are currently wading in will all help us during the season whenever things start to unfold. Hey, remember,
Right.
For instance, Russell Wilson interrupting Pete Carroll's press conference to say, hey, we're still friends, with old Schneider popping his head in on the side with a little and Pete Carroll looking scared at the beginning. What's he going to say? Get out of here. What if they start to lose? Team 3 with all their statements, the press conference, we don't hate each other, they look scared. I mean, all this just adds to the storyline of the season. We appreciate you rocking with us every single day, though. Noon to 4-ish at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Noon to 3. We're back in 4 minutes with some phone calls. Hey, these phone calls are going to be good.
Come on, phones. Come on, phones.
Hey, these phone calls are going to be good calls.
Come on now, phone
Hey, these
calls.
calls ain't going to stink, are they?
No.
Now, when they get in, they're going to be entertaining. They're going to be enlightening. They're going to have a take. They're going to have an opinion. They're going to have a question that's going to get right to it.
Love it.
Get to it.
They're not going to be on mute whenever we say hello. Hear me now?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Get to it. Get out.
4 minutes from now, that's happening. I can't wait for it.
Let's
This
go.
is the
Let's go.
McAfee Show, Wednesday, June 16th. How are ya? I'm Roman, a men's health brand that can dance very well and make you the best you possible. Are you suffering from male pattern baldness? We got something for that. Testosterone deficiency? See ya. Premature ejaculation, gone. No more coming too quick. Allergies as well. And that's not all. We have clinically tested supplements for everything, including erectile dysfunction. Come on. Bye-bye. GetRoman.com/Pat. Be the best you possible.
Those plane rides home from an away game, an away victory, are some of the best times I've ever had in my entire life. And it's all just it's dudes at 35,000 feet with a terrible sound system because you have you have somebody's cell phone going into that over the plane. And it was just like a cool, it was like real happiness for a lot of people in that, on that team. I don't think they experienced a lot of real happiness because of how focused they were on their jobs. There were a lot of older guys. So, like, their only moments of happiness, I think, were those flights home, like after a big win. Like, genuine happiness. Their entire life was dedicated to football. So, all week, all they were thinking about was the game. And then that trip home, that, like, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it was like a moment for them just to completely, like, relax and not worry about next week or the past week, their family, nothing. We're at 35,000 feet, nobody else around us except for us. That is a real moment that I don't think a lot of people know about or appreciate, is the flights home from away victories are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Those are good times, man. Really good times. You got people singing. My favorite story is of an offensive lineman, and I won't say his name, but he was asked to sing, right? So if a rookie's asked to sing, like, you got to go sing. So he grabbed the microphone, and he didn't know that the owner's daughter just so happened to be on the team's plane, sitting up in the very front or in the very back. So they kind of have it off. So he kind of got comfortable in his current surrounding and didn't know about the entire surroundings. And he grabbed that thing, and he was not expected to sing the song. I fornicated two bad ladies at the same damn time. At the same damn time. At the same damn. And then he started feeling it because a lot of people were like, okay, yeah. Big white guy. Massive white guy. Nobody thought he was going to sing this song. So everybody starts, like, gassing him up. You know, he's like, I fornicated too. He starts yelling into this thing. And then all of a sudden you see a little assistant from the front come waltzing back the aisle and grabbing the phone out of his hand. And he's like, what? Like, yelling at him while the thing's still on. So now the entire plane hears him yelling at this assistant. And he, like, puts the phone down, and we're all like, oh, no, like, no fun. All right. They're like, Carly Ursay's on this plane. We're like, oh. Everybody just puts their headphones on, sits right back down. Just an hour and a half of silence. That kid thought he was getting cut immediately off the plane. And he did. And he did.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show. As we were talking there to Jay Glazer about all things happening in the NFL before the break, we did learn that the Kawhi Leonard sprained knee diagnosis early. Charania, about 2 seconds after getting off of this show, breaks that it is an ACL injury for Kawhi.
No.
Charania, Clippers fear all NBA star Kawhi Leonard has suffered an ACL injury. Sources tell The Athletic and Stadium he is out indefinitely, says Shams. I don't think I've ever heard any other ACL injury other than a torn ACL injury. I'm not 100% sure if you can sprain that or tweak that. Let's hope so for the NBA and for the Clippers, who could win back LA after LeBron's worried about the Goon Squad in his playoff series against Suns in 6 or whatever it was. I think Suns in 6
Yep,
there.
Suns in 6, yeah.
So that is a bump. Damn. See?
Bad luck.
Sometimes you'll hear 3 letters and it'll make you feel a certain way.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You hear THC, you're like, huh?
Here we go.
I'm in. You hear CBD, you're like, oh, I'm going to feel bad. Oh, okay, let's go for the joints.
Sign me up.
All right, maybe a bath salt there. You hear ACL, you go, fuck, that's a year. And then I think there has been modern advances in science where it's dropped down to like maybe 9 months, 8 months, 6 months, whatever it is. And I hope somehow, some way, and I know our smartest humans on earth have been focused on figuring out how to beat coronavirus 19. And hopefully they got their eyes set on 2021 and 2022 as well. But some sector of science, we need to figure out how. They open up the knee, pull out the torn ACL, and just drop in another one. I feel like the ACL is the death sentence basically to so many athletes' seasons. And if that's what happened to Kawhi, amongst many, many, many others, I'm not sure how you can train differently to strengthen your ACL. I think it's one of those things where if something happens, it's going to go and it means whatever, but absolutely devastating loss, not only for the Clippers, for their fan base, for LA, for the NBA, for Kawhi, but also for us. For Shams not breaking that on our fucking show.
I know.
What happened there?
I don't know.
That was the text he got.
Yeah.
If we could run that video back, his eyes got huge.
Yeah.
It almost exploded out of his skull.
Didn't even know that his camera was a phone until he actually knocked it over.
Well, and how about him? How about him? You know, still doing the interview with us, knowing, like, all right, as soon as I get done talking to these idiots, I got
Sending this
the news to break or whatever. How does he even do it? How did he handle it? And all those answers, he wasn't even listening to us. He was trying to craft that tweet.
Yeah.
Shams is obviously a legend in the game, but he said nothing else is really going to happen today. Did this come out of nowhere? I got questions for Shams.
Shams knew.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Shams knew.
he probably had to get another, because I think you have to get like 10 of those things cleared, especially when it comes to an injury like the ACL. I mean, that's a swing, right? That's a complete game changer for the entire NBA. And now that Chris Paul has tested positive, shout out to John Gambora over there with the inside information. He's probably out 10 to 14 days as well. I believe there is another somebody in Utah.
Mike Conley.
Mike Conley's out for a game as well because of an injury. James Harden obviously hampered by the hamstring. Kyrie Irving with a rolled ankle. Kevin Durant, though, King Kong.
Yeah. Let's go.
He's all the way back.
Yeah, the NBA is not happy about the Jazz going to the finals now. We know that because they had LA, they had the Suns. Now it's Utah.
You think the Suns are out?
If Chris Paul can't play.
It appears that load management also does not work.
Yeah, because a lot of people getting injured here late whenever they were. Was that happening to these players that are
Kawhi?
I think Kawhi's
for
a big
few
load
years.
management.
Yeah.
And were they load managing potentially because the knees were maybe a little bit beat up?
Kawhi has had bad knees in the past.
So are you hurt because you didn't play, or did you not play because you're already hurt?
Damned if
that's
you do,
the
damned if you don't.
bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you're going to have a gambling show every single day, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't win. Last night, I mean, I'm going to talk about the COVID Cowboy and the Hammer Down Show, which is live at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at youtube.com/Hammer Down. That's DAHN, live every day, giving out picks. And the show had an incredible night.
Good night.
Gumpy was 9-0 gambling.
Holy shit.
Gumpy, 9-0. Are you kidding me? Obviously, Euros have come around. This is your Super Bowl over there. Although this morning we talked to somebody from Hollywood about the Euros and how big it was in the Hollywood world and everything like that. Called it like, a championship type thing every single day. He might have even said Super Bowl.
Yeah, he said Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then you said, yeah, it's like that. And then we actually landed on what it actually is.
No,
it's like a
don't
high
say-
school
don't.
March Madness.
Yeah, there it is.
It's every single day. It's taking up the entire day.
stop
It's
with
not.
that.
It's a
No,
high
you've
school.
gone
Hey, they're
too-
good high schoolers.
Great high
Hey, they're
school.
great high schoolers.
You've gone too far.
No, I'm talking entertainment value though. March Madness, it's like, oh shit, didn't know that guy existed. That school existed. They're heating up. Is that Grandma Kathy out there?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, every single day you got like a team you can get going. This one, we understand the talent level is high. It's been tough to follow, but fuck all that. We're making a lot of money off it because of you gambling. Let's keep this thing going. Huh? 9-0 night. How'd you celebrate? Did you get all loud and reckless at the house?
Yeah, I tried to get another noise complaint at the condo. I'm rowdy late at night, early in the mornings. You know me, getting fired up.
Gumpy actually sent an email back to a noise complaint saying, couldn't be me. I live alone and I do nothing. And I believe the noise complaint got pulled.
Yeah.
Congrats to you. But last night would have been tough to fall asleep, I assume, after a 9-0 night. That's what you dream of. There's people probably that went out there and parlayed 4, 5, 6, 7 of your picks and made a lot of money, including yourself. Gumpy, you're doing the Lord's work, pal.
That's the best part when you see all those people when they send in their winning parlays and stuff. I mean, it doesn't get much better for me.
Hey, listen, you need to have your blinders on. You hear me? Okay?
That's right.
Can't get too high on the high, can't get too low on the low. All right, life's going to be ebbs and flows, but you can't ride the peaks. You hear me? You got to be along the middle there. Because if you put stock in all these people saying how much they win, then what do? You have to put stock in whenever they tell you how much they lose.
Yep.
So now you're riding a wave. Okay,
Take it on the shins.
Okay, those days you take it on the shins, though. You are a completely different person.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Bummer.
Gumpy rarely loses in gambling, especially now since Hammer Down has started. Both of these guys, I think they're lying at this point with how good they're doing. It makes no sense, but we're all profiting off it because our bets just get put in by them there. So it's absolutely fantastic. Gumpy, you don't have a lot of losing days, but those days when you get attacked, I want to let you know all of us feel terrible for you. I wish you would dance on those people a little bit more when you go 9-0 on a night,
I'm starting to take it a little bit better. I'm coming around.
You do. He feels so terrible for these
Just
people.
in the trenches, getting shelled.
Oh,
Driving home, he doesn't say a goddamn word on the way back. I'm
Bingo.
like, all right?
It's like a game. It's like a game. He just gave up. He just hit a penalty 30 yards over the net like he's Gareth Bale, who's pushing 40 at this point for that Wales squad or whatever. I guess it just had. What's the score in that game?
1-0 Wales. We're sitting good on that one. We just win or draw. We're good with Wales.
Okay, so you're 9-0, becoming 10-0 on the day. Diggs, COVID Cowboy, hammered down. You guys were what on the night last night as a whole? He was 9-0. The whole show was.
Well, baseball we were 12-0-2.
Jesus.
Diggs was also 7-0 yesterday.
Oh! Wow! What are you guys doing? You're an ATM there at 4 o'clock Eastern every single day.
Yesterday.
You guys are full of shit. There's no way.
Foxy has
There's
said
absolutely no way.
I want to let this.
I mean, we have tape of it, you dumb fuck.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
The conversation that happens, while we're traveling and things like that, because we do mention, like, these guys, are they just printing money? And it's like, you look at, they are. They
are.
And then inevitably the conversation turns to, they got to be lying. They got to be lying.
Doctor footage.
And then Foxy has very loudly been the one who's saying, they're full of fucking shit.
that's
They're
bullshit.
absolute full of shit is what he's been saying. And I want to let you know, I don't believe him. I think you guys are unbelievable. Thank you for making us all a lot of money. What are we on today? Are we still doing Euros and baseball? And what is the baseball hack? Is it that first 5 thing you guys have figured out?
Yeah, it's basically the first 5. Gumpy looks I and Gumpy look at the starting pitchers and go off the starting pitchers and then a little bit of how the teams are hitting. But, I mean, it's really simple formula.
You think FanDuel is ever going to change the algorithms on that whole first 5 thing? Because it feels like you guys have been raking in for, like a month and a half now, straight, almost, every single day.
The odds have gotten slightly worse. Like, you used to be sitting -110, -120. Now you're going to be looking -135, -140 on a lot of the games.
Okay.
Well, and see, they learned too. FanDuel learned as well. And I think that is something as we embark in this new journey that is sports gambling, legalized, regulated, and everything like that. The sports book, the gambling, you are playing against the book.
Oh, yeah.
So if you find an angle on FanDuel, which has so many prop bets, that you are winning in, do it.
Keep going.
Because guess what? They're going to learn.
They will correct the angle.
They're going to, because they're playing against you as well. This is like they're setting the points. They're taking a bet. This is a game. And I think a lot of people might not understand that because if they change something, they're like, oh, you're trying to rob us. It's like, no. It's you versus fan. Like, hey, it is you versus them. If you figure out a strategy, though, that seems to, for instance, for me, second half New England over was something that I started betting on a couple of years ago whenever Tom was there. And I was just betting on Tom, Josh McDaniels, and Belichick and Ernie going in at halftime, figuring it out, and doing more than what anybody thinks that they're going to be able to do. I hit on that for like 7-8 straight weeks. Got pulled. That thing got pulled quickly or whatever. You just kind of got to enjoy it. I'm happy that they haven't completely taken off the first 5 because I don't think you guys have lost more than 2 a night whenever you hand those things out.
No, there's been a couple bad nights, but I think right now I'm up around like 20 units on the baseball season. So like if you were betting 100, you'd be up $2,000 on the baseball season.
Good for you, dude.
There's been some losing nights, but majority's been winning.
Shohei Ohtani's still the best player in baseball. Is that what's going on? I assume you guys that are gambling on these games are the only people that are watching baseball right now, I'd assume.
He hit a dinger last night.
Yeah, he did.
Missile.
Oh, did he? Shohei Ohtani hit another home run?
Yeah.
Put that on fucking repeat every single day. Ty, are you ready to say he's the best baseball player of all time?
No, I'm not, but he is very good and he is very fun to
Actually,
watch.
Vlad Guerrero Jr.,
Yeah.
Vlad's son, is just pounding the balls, leading the league in home
He doesn't
runs.
wear gloves, right, that guy?
Vlad didn't.
His son does.
Oh, is that because you got spider tack on those gloves down there? Are they allowed to put shit on their hands on the bat?
Pine tar, yeah.
Pine tar.
They're allowed to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I'm the pitchers, I'm pitching against that immediately
They
now that I'm
are.
not allowed to use spider tack. It's like, well, they shouldn't be allowed to put anything on the goddamn bat then.
The pitchers are quite upset. Tyler Glasnow, who's one of the best pitchers in the league, is blaming you might have to get Tommy John. He's blaming that on not being allowed to use the rosin with the suntan lotion.
Yeah, because he had to grip ball tighter, which changes muscle in arm while he's full exertion on that thing. I would assume.
Pirate.
Huh?
Former Pirate.
He's really good?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
You don't say.
Fucking Pirates, dude.
Him and Garrett Cole were together, basically, on the Pirates.
Jason Kendall on that team, his pop time probably led to this guy's greatness.
You're right.
It was, one of the reasons.
Let's get some phone calls, shall
Thank
we?
you, Kendall.
So you guys betting Euros and baseball tonight?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm probably not going to watch.
Actually, the whole show, Connor had Kevin Durant 40 plus, which hit
Let's
last
go!
Nick,
How much did that pay out?
It was only plus 280, but for the Nets to win as well, it was plus 680.
Nick had the Lightning in regulation.
Hey, 5-6-1 last night, wasn't it? They got hot. Hey, the boys started
And
ringing
then,
the goddamn light.
And then Mitt had Kevin Durant under 15 points. So that was the only loser on the night.
Oh, Mitt.
Hey, he's
What's
clown.
Mitt's deal, dude?
He's a clown.
Hey, by the way, me and Mitt, the two representatives of this entire office on TikTok, he's the only person I follow. So every time I go onto my TikTok app, it's just Mitt. And TikTok, for whatever reason, I'm just learning about this. The only reason why I'm getting on TikTok, by the way, is because I was kind of challenged by somebody in the,
That world.
the advertising world.
Oh, okay.
Said that I couldn't, you can't do it. And I was like, no, I think it's bad for my brand to be on TikTok. Like, I am not a TikToker. Like, I don't think
Right.
so. And he told me, like, oh, don't be so shallow, basically. Like, TikTok's a lot deeper than that now, especially with the Euros. TikTok is sponsoring basically everything. I mean,
Really?
they're on every single banner. TikTok is sponsoring everything. They're getting a full push. And he was like, oh, you can't figure it out. These young kids can figure it out. You can't figure it out or whatever. I was like, I'll go over to fucking TikTok.
Yeah.
So I made one. I really enjoy it. Like I've only made 4 videos on there. The editing tools that I can do make me feel like I'm Foxy.
Really?
I feel like I'm Foxy on that thing. Now, Foxy probably doesn't love that I'm doing this and I'm starting to, really dive into the editing of the videos things on there. But it is amazing. But the one flaw I'd say, and I assume a lot of people have said this, and I don't mean anything to the TikTok world, but I'm experiencing this live literally the first couple of days here. As soon as you open that thing, a video is playing of who you're following, and the sound is all the way up. And I only follow one person. It's fucking Money Mitt, dude. So every single time I go on to that app, it's Mitt's face screaming right at me. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. How do I get out of here? You know what I mean? But Mitt's a good follow on there. At Money Mitt.
Is he? Is he a good follower on there?
To be honest, I have not seen more than, oh my God.
Yeah, get that out of my face.
But I give him a view and a like every single time. Shout out to you, Money Mitt. I'm
Is
getting
he
likes.
still doing the dance?
With the golf club?
Yeah, or has he gotten rid of that? Because I thought we said that needs to be in every video.
The last 3 videos I have seen has just been his face and there's noise. And I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then I'll go back, hit a like, and then I'll get out of there again.
Nice.
But it's, I have not seen him is what I'm saying. But my TikTok experience is Mitt's face with a sound as soon as I open the app. And then I go into the little editor. I love it.
So does the app override your volume all times and just cranks it up?
My volume is always up, I think, because I always have my phone on silent. So if I have music on, I'd like it to be loud because I want to.
Oh, yeah.
I like my music real loud, real loud. Can you turn that shit up for me right now, right now? TikTok needs to do that, but turn it down, turn it down. Let's get some phone calls. Let's go to Carter in Minnesota. What's going on, Carter?
Hey, how are Pat and the boys?
Hey, we're good there. I like a good Minnesotan A there as we started that thing. Thank you for that, Carter. What do you want to talk about?
I know you got some NFC North guys with you, but I just want to talk about how the ice-cold Minnesota Vikings are building a super team behind everyone's back.
Okay, what's going on out there? Hey, Kyle Rudolph, big country, get the hell out. We got another tight end, Kirk Cousins, $46 million guaranteed left on his contract in Minnesota. Thielen's unbelievable. Justin Jefferson's very good. Dalvin Cook had his first offseason getting to work out. On the defensive side of the ball, hey, they just signed
Daniil Hunter.
Yeah. Hey, get him back in there.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? The Daniil Hunter. We should have thought of that off. there we could have done something real sweet there. That's on us for being lazy. But the Vikings, you think they're going to win a Super Bowl over there? Why do you think that? You're just blind optimism from being in Minnesota?
Oh no! I mean, they got like 6 new veterans on defense and bringing back 3 more. So I mean, they're stacked. Offense is top 5 in the league.
All right, Carter. Carter, your analysis was not great, but I like that you
defense stacked.
I like that the Vikings fans are pumped about the Vikings. I like the Vikings, by the way.
So do I. Their defense fucking stunk last year, though. So hopefully,
but they just brought
they got
the Daniel Hunter back,
and I don't think he played all last year.
Well, he was hurt.
Neck issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they signed him to a big-time deal.
They
Guess
did.
who's back again?
Oh, Stinger.
Daniel Hunter's back. Tell a friend. Let's go to a phone call, shall we?
Harry Smith, too.
Let's go to Kyle. What's that?
Yeah.
Harrison Smith is damn good, too.
Yeah, hell of a ball.
He
back.
catches a body.
What's that?
He catches bodies out there.
Yeah, he's trying to kill people.
Oh, yeah.
I like the Vikings, too. Hey, there was I think Patrick Peterson that they signed this offseason. I don't know what position he's going to be playing. Is he on an island? Is he in zone? Is he
wearing
safety?
7?
What is he doing? I don't know. I'm excited to see that. But he posted the boom,
skull
chant, and he said he's setting it as a ringtone.
Oh.
When there is pitch silence in that stadium before the next round of drums in the skull, what a fucking environment. What an atmosphere. We played over there. The big Viking did the whole thing, and they did the whole thing. It was awesome. And then we beat them literally just the hell out of them. And they couldn't cheer the entire time. But that fan base is a very loyal, very loud, very passionate one. That team, though, 2 years removed from winning a playoff game down in New Orleans. Kyle Rudolph shoved that guy out of the way
that's right.
into the front row. Caught a touchdown 1 year after a review was put in for pass interference because the New Orleans Saints got screwed. Happened to them again by Kyle Rudolph. Then they lose the next round. Last year, kind of a disappointing run, I guess. Maybe injuries, but if Aaron Rodgers, the big bad wolf, still in the NFC North, I'm not sure anything's going to happen.
Yeah, bingo.
But if he's not, the Vikings kind of seem like the team.
They are plus 250. They have second best odds behind the Packers. So if you don't think Aaron's going to be there, it's not a bad little bet right now.
Well, and the odds are, and the Broncos still have pretty good odds because there's a thought that the Aaron's going to go there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't the bookers right now, sports books people? They're kind of trying to guess the future, and we assume that sports books had an inside source that knew more information than us. That's why the odds are doing what they're doing. Then we completely changed the odds on draft day with Trey Lance. So it's like, oh, these people don't know anything more than we do potentially. So very fast. They're trying to just hedge their bets right now.
Correct.
Right?
So, like, they have to keep the Broncos' odds higher because if you drop them low and put them at their odds, if Drew Lock was their quarterback, a bunch of people are going to jump on that. And if Aaron does go there, their liability is going to be through the fucking roof.
Yeah, so they have to prepare for that, especially if Mark Schlereth and Jason Albright are coming out saying, hey, listen, 60-40 out here. 60-40. You're unblocked by Albright.
Good guy.
He didn't listen to you calling him.
No, he did not.
No, he didn't.
Are you taking that back, or are you just going to act like it didn't happen?
I'm taking it back.
Are you following him? Did you follow him?
No, I did not.
Did he follow you?
No, he did not.
He just unblocked you.
I don't think he did.
What if he followed you? Are you going to extend
We're like
the
two
hand?
ships passing in the night.
Oh, you too?
Fair.
No, 2 ships passing in the night. I think it's like you don't even know you're there.
Yeah,
Correct.
you don't say anything. You don't yell
Neither of us are
across the
following each
bow.
other.
Yeah, but he unblocked you, so he does know that you're there. And you called him soft as a bag
No,
of
I
shit.
said I may have said that.
No, you did. Oh, no. Yeah, because
I was speculating on why it may have been blocked.
So you didn't know for sure. Now that you know
Correct.
a little bit more about Mr. Albright, you're saying, I didn't say that.
I should dive into his Twitter to see exactly what I would have said.
Would you have deleted that tweet, or could you just look that
No,
up?
I've never done that.
All right, let's
I
go.
should.
Hey, by the way, congrats to everybody for getting verified.
Thank you, Pat.
Hey, no, you know a big connection to that whole thing.
Who is that?
The guy who probably founded Twitter, Jeff Jacobs.
Oh, thank you,
Jeff. That boy Jake.
Thank you, Ari Gold.
Yeah, Ari Gold. Thank you, Ari Jacobs. He did. I don't know how he did it. We've been asking for years with agents from your agency. We've been asking for a long time.
Huh.
Let's go to Philip in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. I don't know that song. I don't think I heard.
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Is that it?
On Baton Rouge. Yeah, I think that's it.
What's up, Philip?
It is Baton Rouge.
Hey,
Yes, it is Baton Rouge.
do you guys sing that song every night, like midnight in the bars down there? Because after LSU won that national championship, I mean, that whole place was. Baton Rouge. Do you guys sing that song? You love that song?
Definitely singing that around closing time for sure.
Do you sing it?
Definitely in the bar. Do I sing it personally?
Yeah.
Not really. That's not my
Unload that
forte or cup of tea of music, but
What's that all about?
it is a good song from time to time.
You don't like good environments? You don't like having a good time with everybody? You don't like joining in a nice karaoke sesh? What's that all about, Philip? You hate people around there in Baton Rouge?
No, I'd rather smoke some vitamins and just chill, listen to the hip hop vibe, you know?
Oh, okay, I understand. So if they put a little remix on that, Baton Rouge, you would go then. I appreciate that. What do you want to talk about, dude? We got 1 minute until we got to get off the air on Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Do you think it's a problem that if Jameis Winston doesn't work out, that the Saints never decided to draft his replacement, even though they had years to do so?
So Taysom Hill allegedly, great question, Philip, down there in Baton Rouge. We appreciate that question. Taysom Hill was what, the next Steve Young in Sean Payton's press conferences. Now, whether or not he believes that, I guess we're going to find out. Taysom is only training to be a quarterback next season. Jameis obviously doing Jameis stuff this offseason. Fast feet on a ladder. Fast feet on a ladder. Now, the person tweeting that I don't think has ever seen anybody else go through a ladder in comparison to who. Sure. But Jameis looked good. He's got new eyes. Taysom's training to be a quarterback. They're okay. But it could backfire if you don't have a quarterback. That's just the way the NFL is. Hour 3's on the other side with a man from London town.
Ooh.
Yeah. Wow.
International show.
Yeah. We'll see you then. If something happens one time, anomaly. Happens 2 times, it's like, oh, okay, maybe. But whenever there's a trend of 18 plus, 20 plus things being predicted, you got to go like, hey, Groening, the gig's up. We know. You're a time traveler.
Just tell us.
Bro, I just want to talk to you. I got so many questions. Siegfried and Roy tiger attack. Do you remember that?
Of course.
Do you remember back in the day how tight Siegfried and Roy were with their tigers? It was like every main story was like, oh, these tigers are the best behaved animals on earth, blah, blah, blah. Simpsons in 1993 said the tiger is going to turn. This little friendly tiger is going to become an enemy of Siegfried and Roy quickly, and it's going to happen. 2003, it actually happened. Autocorrect errors, 1994. Before you could even play Snake on the gray little box phone, they predicted that autocorrect will happen on your phone. Are you kidding me? Didn't happen until 2007. FaceTime, 1995. Not even a thought. I don't even know if anybody knew what the fuck the internet was.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then the ring around it?
At?
See, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. No, what do you
is
say to that,
internet
Allison?
anyway?
In 1995, they said, don't worry, you'll be carrying around a device where you will be face-to-face with somebody on the opposite side of Earth. 1995, they said that. 2010, it happened. Faulty voter machines. 2008, they predicted it. 2012, it became the forefront of conversation in a big, big way. I assume these voter machines have been up in question for a long, long time, but they just knew that it was going to come to fruition in 2012.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Come on, it's time for a change.
3 votes for McCain.
The God particle. Now, this is the big one. Ty Schmidt did research. He said the God particle is the absolute reason why he is 1,000% a time traveler. Homer Simpson got up there like fucking Matt Damon in that movie where they have that
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, and draws up this equation for what the God particle is, which what is the God particle?
Yeah, it's basically this equation that essentially like explains how the universe was created.
And they did that in 1998, and the exact equation happens in 2012.
That's unheard of.
14 years ahead of time. They got Homer Simpson up there looking like that goddamn janitor from Harvard, solving equations up on a chalkboard, and 14 years later, it's like, yeah, that's actually how the universe was founded. It's like, wait a fucking minute, little comedy writer with the goddamn yellow cartoon, bro. That's insane. The NSA spying scandal. Everybody knew that the Patriot Act was like in existence, but nobody had a clue that NSA literally knows everything about you. Every dick you've sent has been seen by some government agency, but it wasn't always like that. We didn't know that everything was getting spied on, Sean. Nobody knew that.
I didn't know.
They predicted that in 2007, 2013 it happened.
No, Lisa, it's not like the government is listening to everybody's conversation.
Smartwatches. 1995, they said it would happen. 2014, they came to fruition. America's Ebola outbreak. 1997, they said it. 2014. Do you remember when Ebola hit? It was like, it was literally...
Hospitals like shutting down.
Oh, they had people wearing like hazmat suits, carrying people around because they were scared Ebola was possible. In the modern world, this was happening. Years and years and years and years ago, Matt Groening said this is going to happen. The FIFA corruption scandal, 2014, they called it 2015. It came all crashing down. Everybody knew they were getting their pockets greased. making decisions, sending a World Cup to a goddamn desert. Matt Groening said it's going to happen. It happened. Greece's debt default. 2012, they called it. 2015, it happened. So many countries out there, by the way.
They picked Greece?
The exact country to happen. Trump's presidency. 2000, they called it. 2016, it came to fruition. The Simpsons called this. President Trump out there. And everybody probably looked at, those Simpsons guys are so funny. Bang, 16 years later, it is about to happen. It goes down. Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show, 2012, they called it. 2017. I mean, I think we all knew that she was born this way. She would probably get the halftime show at some point. But to the details that they had, these are not coincidences. Coincidenci. I don't know how you pronounce it.
How the fuck do they know this stuff? It's got to be time travel.
Matt Groening is a time travel. I have so many fucking questions. Disney's takeover of Fox, 1998. They said it. 2017, it happens. The Shard in London, which is a building behind Big Ben, I guess. Is that right?
Apparently, that's what Google search said.
1995, 2009, it comes to fruition. Robot Librarians, 95, they called it. 2016, it happens. The censorship of Michelangelo's David, 1990, 2016, it happened. Three-Eyed Fish from the fucking nuclear waste place.
In Japan.
Three-Eyed Fish comes to fruition in 2001. Matt Groening did it in 1990. 9/11. 9/11. They called that happening. If you do recall planes going into buildings, they said it in 1997, 2001, it happens. The Syrian uprising, everything that's going on in the Middle East has all been talked about on The Simpsons. And then he created another show called Futurama. That is huge. He created another show like, listen, here's me rubbing it in the face that's where I could go if I have to. I have so many questions for Matt Groening. And guess what, Matt Groening? The gig's up. We know. I'm all in on you, Matt. And I'm a fan, by the way, aren't we? We're big fans.
I'm a huge fan.
If you want to travel to future me or current me or past me and say what's up, I think we would all be appreciated.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 3 on this Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. We'll begin immediately following this beat drop from Twine. There it is. Here we go. Hey, big sports show. You hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Big sports show. Hammer Down boys are here, fresh off a 9-0 and 7-0 night gambling. Hammer Down can be viewed at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time every single day. YouTube.com/Hammer Dahn. That's Dahn. These guys are printing out money. And a man who has been doing that for a long time. And is also a friend of Hammer Down and of this show. Ladies and gentlemen, brilliant soccer handicapper from the England, Nigel Sayer.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Congratulations last night from the Hammer Down boys, 9-0, unbelievable.
Those are nights. Hey, Nigel, those are nights. No matter how long you've been gambling, you got to enjoy the hell out of. I was telling Gumpy, you got to enjoy 9-0, 7-0. You should be having the time of your life, right, Nigel?
Listen, the amount of times I've gone 9-0, spent all the money in 2 days, have been skint and been borrowing it by the end of the week. No problem.
Nigel, I am so happy I've been introduced into your existence because of Gumpy coming in and in the soccer world happening. The last time you came on, you told us why that Capital One League where people are buying up, you explained to us why we were being American stooges, okay? Every time you come on, I appreciate it. Is it understandable that it's been tough for me to get into the Euros because I don't have a team in it? Is that understandable? And what should I be looking for, you think, when it's your? And what does it mean over there?
Well, the first thing that I've done is I've seen some of your videos, Pat, on Twitter explaining the European League, and I've given it to my 17-year-old son who's doing an A-level, like a degree in geography. European geography, and he's flunked everything because of your bloody useless geography.
We're close. We're figuring it out over there, Nigel. We're figuring it out. Hey, whenever you're talking about like Greenland and Iceland up there, oh, that's way up there,
Way up there.
And then England, the Emerald Isles too of Ireland over there. You know what I mean? And
France,
the whole
North Macedonia.
What I'm learning, Nigel, is I know nothing. Okay, about Europe. I've been there a few times. I loved it. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the life, but I don't know enough about it. This Euros is this is massive. This is second behind the World Cup, or like your team in a Champions League winning. Where do you rank these Euros when it comes to like fans over there?
Well, I think if you ask most fans, soccer fans, obviously their club becomes more than their country. But I'm from a generation, I'm a bit older than most of the Liverpool fans, and I still want to believe that England will win. The last time England won the major championship was in 1966, so I've got a long way to win something. So it's an emotional hope that we will win something. So I have some kind of emotion. But in terms of national football, this is without doubt the second biggest tournament over here in soccer in the European. If you're an Italian, if you're French, if you're Spanish, this is your second. You want to win the World Cup, priority number one. Secondly, the European Championship, and arguably the European Championship is a better competition to win because there isn't so many weak teams. I mean, the World Cup there's a lot of weak teams, but this is the best in the European. It's very evenly matched. But a lot of people, if you're a Manchester United fan, you're a Liverpool fan, you want to win the Champions League or the Premier League. But for me, if England wins something, well, like you say, nights you'll remember. It'll be months I'll forget, I think.
Well, I can understand that because you're invested, because you haven't won since 1966. You'd like to see your team win or whatever. And I think that's my problem. Like, if the United States had a chance to go over and play in us, because, hey, they just won the Concave, Nigel.
That's right.
Yeah, we just won the...
Come on.
Yeah, we just won the Concave.
Let us in.
Let us in.
I could play in that.
You don't know, Nigel.
Easy.
Bloody hell.
I could play in goal with these on. Still with that.
No.
Nice.
It's a new day over here, okay? Our players went over to your guys' academies, learned how to do it, and then now they're coming back. I do believe we have a team coming. Is there any respect over there for the United States team that could potentially, come to be here?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, probably the fastest growing nation in soccer in the world, with the development in the country. But like I said to a couple of American shows I've done, I'd leave it to the women.
I don't know what you just said because your accent there.
Couldn't hear a word.
What did you?
I said the women of the flag bearers in soccer in America, aren't they? So they're the ones to beat. They're the top of their game. But I think the trouble is, however much money is going to go into the American game, I feel that the grassroots in the Brazilians coming through, the Argentinians coming through, the English, the Premier League, the money coming through. It's going to be very hard for them to compete at the top level. But quarterfinals, last 16 to win it, I think you're going to have a long wait, probably longer than England in 51 years since 50 odd years since 1966.
Listen, Nigel, that World Cup trophy, it's $20 million. Hey, guess what? It's finally coming home. It's coming home.
Yes.
It's coming home,
That's
Nigel.
right.
It's coming home. Stupid Americans just started watching soccer. Say something. The World Cup's coming home. Let's talk a little bit about the gambling Italy game. I guess there's some line movement. What are your thoughts on that? And how easy or hard is it for you, since you're in there invested, to gamble on the Euros with, I think you've had a couple days, couple nights here watching this English team. You're all in. Is it easy to gamble for you since you're over there? Is it hard? And what should we look at this Italy game?
Well, the first thing is gambling in England. You go on any street corner in any shop in any town in England. There's betting parlours, there's betting shops. It's very easy to bet in this country on phone apps. Very easy for us to bet. For our country, they're always a bad result. So the bookmakers, whenever England play, if England win 1-2-0 against any side, it's always an absolute disaster for the book because sentimental money comes in and patriotic money comes in. And I find it very hard to bet on England because I want them to win, but the price I'm going to get, the line I'm going to get is always terrible. And I remember last World Cup in the semi-finals of the World Cup, when England was in the semi-finals of the biggest tournament in the world, I'd actually bet Croatia to win the tournament. So what kind of cheer that was for me when England played Croatia, it was impossible. So I've got tickets for one game, and it's going to could be England v France. and I've had my biggest bet on the tournament on France, and I've got to sit with a load of English people, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I want England to win, but also I want them to lose for monetary purposes. But for tonight's game, I think it's been a very tricky. It's been a tough tournament for me. Oh, look at this. This is why it's coming home. Look at these skills. Look at that. Look at that.
Nigel, I mean, what are we doing here?
Look at this. Look at this.
What are we doing here?
This is good. This is good. Right, that's enough now. No good.
I'm tired. Yeah, that's all I got. I thought I could.
Oh, that one is very good. Well, I'll tell you what.
New Zion.
Honestly, that's better than I thought, to be honest with you, Pam.
Yeah, this is a concava, Nigel.
That's right.
This is the concava.
Well, you need a better football, pumped up football, and a more modern football. You'd be okay. But let me tell you about tonight's game, Italy again. Italy have been fantastic. And I know Gumpy's quite strong on Italy. He thinks they're going to do well in this tournament. They've been the biggest movers in the betting from the first set of fixtures, but they played a Turkish side who are dreadful and have been equally dreadful tonight. I think they will win tonight. But just a word of caution, every single time Italy have ever played in the second match of the European Championship, ever since the tournament started, none of their games have ever featured more than 2 goals.
Oh, no shit. There's
so
no goals
1-0,
in this.
1-0, 2-0 Italy tonight. What do you mean no shit? That's a good stat.
No, there's no goals in this goddamn tournament, Nigel. We're trying to watch. There's no goals. It's cagey, I'm being told by Gumpy. It's cagey affair.
But it doesn't matter. What is it? If you're making money, does it matter if it's 0-0 or 4-4? As long as you make money.
No, we agree. We agree. We have been making a lot of money with Gumpy. We love betting on soccer, but watching it, it's been hard for me to.
Well, the last time I come on this show, you were an advocate for a league that would have been the most boring league.
No,
I don't know. No, we don't know that.
Don't start telling me all about.
No,
we don't know.
You wanted a team that was 0-0.
No,
every game.
No,
unders galore. Every book in the world would have gone bust on unders in that league.
All right, maybe. All right, I don't know the teams that were going to be in that league, but I was pumped about potentially knowing some names. Which, by the way, Gareth Bale. What was he doing for Wales down there? Just airmailing one. Before the boys have questions for you, because we're massive fans, I have 2 quick things here. Your accent, is there different dialects of the accent? For instance, I'm from Pittsburgh. I talk differently, obviously, than somebody who's from the South or from New York. Do you have a different accent than everybody else, or do you all sound exactly the same?
Well, no, we all sound very different. I know geographically we're a short boat trip or rail ride to Portugal in your book. We all talk very, very differently. I come from London, obviously, and I have a very strong London accent. I'm from South London, and I talk very fast. And whenever I go to America, everybody comes up to me and says, "Are you from Australia?" And I say, no, I'm not from Australia. I come from London. But it's very different. If you go up to Manchester, it's very different areas. But I'm from London, and I have a very strong South London accent. I'm very close to the Queen. The Queen talks like me, surely.
Hey, I've been watching The Crown. I know more than you think I do. Okay, and I'll tell you what. When she was riding those horses, oh man.
What? Wait, don't. You'll be beheaded if you come to me. You'll be beheaded if you go any further.
No, okay. I'm just letting you know. I absolutely love The Crown. Hey, now when they changed out who was portraying the Queen and everybody else, that's when they lost me. That's when they lost me or whatever. But I enjoyed The Crown. I felt like I learned a lot.
Well, hang on, Pat. She's 93 years of age. We couldn't have a hot 22-year-old playing her.
Yeah, you can.
Listen, I'm just telling. I understand that the show was written well, and that's what they had to do creatively to, replicate the whole thing. But what I'm saying is, with the way I operate, as soon as we got a new queen, it's like that ain't my queen.
Nope.
That ain't my queen right there. So I was gone. You know what I mean? You would feel the same way, I'd hope, right?
Well, we've had about 70, 80 queens and kings in this country over the years, so we have to deal with it. It's a life thing, isn't it? But I mean, to be fair, The Crown is fantastic, but you've got to just look at it in context. But in our generation, we've never known anything other than the Queen, have we? She's been here for 93 years. She's probably the only person alive who saw England win a tournament.
Well, we're betting rather large on England on Friday, I believe, in the first half to win the first half. Hopefully they do that. Last question for me, then open up to the boys here, Nigel. And by the way, I have to tell you, yet again, it's real. A lot of fans in this office of you, Nigel. I hope you know that. There's this.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, the boys.
I love coming with you guys. I really appreciate all the work the boys and Hammer Dan do. And I love coming on their show with them. And I really enjoy it. So thanks very much for having me on.
Hey, can you say the name of that show again?
Hamadan.
Yeah. So there's a South London man doing Pittsburgh East. People say this show doesn't have depth. Get out of here.
How about that?
Get out of here, dude. Speaking of depth, the other day you were going to potentially come on the show. I reached out to you, and you were at a tennis match having a day there. And then I think I read some things potentially on the internet. Your day on Monday was maybe fairy tale? Is that something that is accurate? And have you spoke about this yet? What did you do on Monday? And is this something that you'll regret or tell the story for the rest of your life?
Well, I've tried to tell the story to a couple of people already. They still don't actually believe it, but it was surreal, Pat. We had a bet on a game on court 1, me and my friend, and we had tickets for centre court. Because of COVID, you could only watch centre court. You couldn't watch any other court. So the only way to watch court 1 was to buy a bottle of champagne and go into some champagne bar. So we went up to the top of the champagne bar and we could watch court 1. So obviously you can imagine the kind of people who go in there, this sort of top end of establishment, quite wealthy. And there's me with a pair of shorts cheering on some checkers. Go on, the checkers are back here, boy. Which didn't go down very well. Anyway, this young lady, we chatted to this woman. She was very nice. She said to me, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm in betting, and we bet this guy to win." She went, "Oh, very interesting." And I said, "Oh, look, on the internet, I've got like 15,000 followers." I was showing off. I was going, "Look, I've got lots of followers. Look at me, look at me." And I said, "What do you do?" And she said, "Oh, I'm in the pub business. I'm in the drink business." I said, "Oh, that's fantastic." But I said, "My friend is in the pub business. He's got a pub. During COVID, he's had to lay 4 people off. He's got no money. His pub's gone bust, blah, blah, blah." She went, "Oh, it's terrible, terrible." I said, "Did the same thing happen to you?" She went, "No, not really, not really." So I said, "Oh, right." I said, what pub?" She said, "We have a little beer that we sell across the world." I said, "Okay, what beer is it?" She said, "It's Heineken." Her name was Charlene Heineken. She was the richest woman in England. She's worth about $25 billion. It was her great-grandfather's. And there she is there. And there's me showing off on my Twitter following and saying, yeah. And it was quite funny because before I knew she was from Heineken, my wife come home from work and my phone started to bleep on my phone. And I was going, "Oh, look at that. That's my Ring doorbell."
To this lady?
So this lady, I was showing her my Ring doorbell. "Oh, that's just my Ring doorbell. That's my house." Like, that's showing off. She's £15 billion. That was the lady.
So,
but to be fair, she was the most charming lady. I mean, she spoke to us for 45 minutes, what she thought of us at the end. But I probably had about 8 Stellas, 6 beers, 2 bottles of champagne. I was sunburned, look at the state, me absolutely sunburned. But she was charming, but it was the most surreal sort of experience I've had for a long time. Apart from being over with you guys, obviously.
No, yeah, of course. Yeah. Sorry that this is what 2 days later looks like for you, but like that's like an undercover boss situation. And by the way, I think it's sweet that she was like probably excited to interact with people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That because like you said, those people that are probably up in that room, those are the only people that are ever around her. I would assume somebody like you in shorts go, "Come on!" She has probably not talked to somebody like you in years at this point.
Ever.
Yeah, she was.
But the thing, she even got the train home. She got the train home. It's like $5 to get the train home.
So is she super anonymous, obviously, over there in England?
Well, she apparently she's the richest woman in England, and
the Queen is in England. The Queen is in England.
She's got more money than the Queen.
Look at my doorbell. You're showing her. That is awesome. That is why I think we love you so much. Covered Cowboy, Tom Diggs.
Nigel, sex tapes, Drew, Mbappe. Why the French always going to stir stuff up? Why can't they just go out there and do what they do best and win games?
Well, they do that well as well. They do win games well. And last night they were fantastic. I mean, any major tournament comes around, and these boys have got a bit of money. They're young. They're good looking. They're going to get in trouble, aren't they? It just depends. The news always comes out in stories like this towards the end of the day. But the French last night, I know they didn't really play to their best potential, but to go into Germany and to win 1-0 in Munich, I know Pat thinks it's just a couple of hours drive across the coast, but it's still it's a very, very tough place to go and win. And it set the benchmark for the tournament. And I think the French will go on to do so much better. And they got so many more gears, and they could have won 2 or 3 really. They didn't have as much possession as they should have done. but it's what you do with the ball at the end of the day, And I think the French, don't worry, French bettors, we're in good shape. Allez le beurre.
Hey, they're deep, huh? That's what Gumpy kept saying. Even if they get into a fight and there's sex tapes and collusion and people are fighting and there's disarray, they're just a deep team.
If you're a football player or a soccer player in this country as well, you haven't got a sex tape, you're doing something wrong.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I got it. Okay, what do you got, Gumpy?
Yeah, Nigel, with that England lineup they started for the first game kind of surprised some people. You think they change it at all or roll out the same lineup on Friday?
I think Gumpy, the thing is that England went quite defensive because I don't think they felt that their back four defensively was strong enough, so they played two holding midfielders in Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips to protect them, to make sure that they didn't concede. Because I think Gareth Southgate realises now to win tournaments, you've got to win ugly like France did last night. There's no point winning 3-4. You've got to win 1-0 games. And I think that was what it's been. It's very hard to drop a player that's a surprise package like Calvin Phillips, who was the best player on the park. He was England's best player. So it's very, very hard. I think that England will play a similar kind of lineup. We may see Foden switch for Grealish. We may see Harry Maguire come back. But I think it's very hard to break up that midfield partnership in Rice and
Are they going to win the first half or not, Nigel? Are they going to win the first half? Are they going to have?
They'll win listen, I'm telling you this. We're going to win the first half. We'll win 1 or 2-0. We'll win 2-0. England will win. We'll get through to the next round. And as long as we don't play France, I'm happy.
Here we go.
It's coming home. It's coming home, Nige.
Diggs just put up a picture of something, and it was a sticker that said, believe. You know what I mean? And one of my favorite series of all time, I think, legitimately, I started watching it because I wondered how a commercial had become a potential series. And then I watched Ted Lasso for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Then I got to episode 2, then episode 5 somehow. And it was like, God damn, this shouldn't be as good as it is. Do you watch that show? Do English people hate that show? What are your thoughts on the big football stooge coming over there and leading FC Richmond to hopefully a promised land?
I've watched it. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very good. But it isn't been well received in England, to be fair, because it's only on Apple TV, and not many people in this country have Apple TV. It's not, you can't watch it on any commercial channel. So the audience in the UK is very, very, very small. But the woman who plays the chairman, who's trying to get out of her ex-husband.
Yeah,
she lives across the street.
That right there.
What? Yeah.
Go get her.
Now this is right over there. I should have told that to the Heineken woman.
Hey, she probably lives in the area as well. So you're telling me right across the street here is the lady?
Yeah, literally about 2 blocks along from you. I see her at the train station.
Okay.
She's little. She's about 6'2". She's big, tall.
Really? She's a great actress, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
She's all the way in there. I didn't know if Ted was going to potentially start, having feelings for her.
I think that is going to be
season 2.
What's going to happen? I can't wait for season 2. Let's get it to England, by the way. I think they would enjoy that thing. What do you have, Connor?
Yeah, Nigel, clearly you don't believe in the USA, going into the World Cup, which makes sense because where you're at now, you kind of have to. But going forward, 2026, possibly even 2030, do you think the USA will win a World Cup?
To be perfectly honest with you, I genuinely don't, but I think they'll compete. Right. I mean, you've got to look at all the big nations in the world. Like the Spanish never won a World Cup for many, many years until recently. Dominations. But the one thing that you're going to have here in your home country after after Qatar, it's going to be in America and Canada, and you've got a great chance there with the conditions. I think you're going to get a team that's going to compete semi-finals, quarter-finals, but to win it, you're going to have that little bit special. But I'm talking 50, 60 years from now. Yeah.
No.
Oh, you fucking chill, Nigel.
You will.
You don't know
this is a long-term project. When I mean long-term, I mean really, really long-term.
No. These types of predictions are embarrassing your neighbors. You hear me? The people that live right over there. These types of things.
Listen, the thing is, when you turn around and say that you're going to tip the USA to win a World Cup in 60 years, whatever the equivalent of Twitter is in about 60 years' time when you're 110, you can tell everyone, I told you that.
Yeah. And by the way, there's a lot of people that do that. I'm happy to hear the soccer sports media does that as well. What do you have, Todd?
Nigel, in England, do you guys give a shit about Olympic soccer or like in Europe in general? Because they kind of hamstring it, and I think, we can't even send a decent team. Like, does anyone else in the world actually give a shit about winning the gold medal in the Olympics?
I think obviously the Nigerians did in the African Nations Cup, and it was something that they did when they sent a lot of the young kids over, the 18, 19-year-old kids, to build a national team. The problem with over here is that they don't send an English team. We're a great British team. For the first time ever, we sent one in the World Cup when we held the Olympics here. It was like some kind of thing they let special sort of compensation that we allowed a great British side. So it was a mixture of Welsh, Scottish and English players who played. And the rule is, if we enter the team, you lose some kind of affiliation with your national, the FA, the French, the Welsh leagues and stuff like that. So from your answer to your question, it's not really important because we don't actually offer an English team. It's like a couple of Scottish players, a couple of Welsh players, a few English players, and it hasn't got that sense of passion and patriotic support that a European Championship does, because it's England against Scotland.
Nigel, we appreciate you so much for joining us, and I hope you continue to live this incredibly awesome life with, neighbors winning Oscars and billionaires having drinks with you. We appreciate you so much for joining us, and have an incredible Euros, pal.
Yeah, and you guys keep up the good work, lads, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks very much for having me, boys.
Hey, you sound like you're Australian there. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Nigel Seeley. Thank you. Joe. It's coming home. It's coming home. I'll tell you what, didn't know if I still had it. Hadn't done this since that video that got talked about earlier. And there's tight coordinates here, because I got cans and drinks and stuff.
Yeah, I'd say you still got it.
I think so, dude. I think so. And by the way, this thing off of this foot, 124 miles an hour, too. Yeah, I have it on documented record with a speedometer gun thing.
That's moving. The futsal moves faster, too, right?
Yeah, well, the futsal's a little bit smaller, a little bit heavier. I did break a kid's arm with that thing. Yeah, whenever we're talking about all I did was just kick a soccer ball off the side of my house when everybody else was playing video games or watching TV, that's real. It was a gift and a curse, though. Obviously built up a fucking monster. But on the other side, just shredded the knee to pieces, too, probably. All those reps,
That's what happens.
While kids are playing video games. But, iron sharpens iron.
That's right. That knee lasted for a damn long time, too.
Hey, as long as it had to.
Yeah.
As long as it had to. By the way, no pain in this thing, day to day.
That's good.
Even when it rains?
I guess there is, when storms happen and stuff like that.
You feel it,
There
right?
is a little bit, because of that whole thing. But when I'm talking my life from 18, 16 maybe, when my knees started getting whatever that is, tendonitis or whatever, and then arthritis it becomes or whatever, my knees have not felt as good as they feel, probably since I'm 14 or 15 years old. And then I'll go back and start punting balls again. I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah. Never mind.
What are we even doing? Kicking, I can do kicking. Punting, though, because the way you have to punt, you have to completely straighten your leg. I think it double
hyperextends.
Yeah, my knee. Yeah, that's how I dislocated the kneecap my last season, because my knee went like that, and then the cap shifted, and then the door got shut on it, kicked out of the club. You know what I mean? So it was out there the whole time. So I can't punt. I can kick, though. I think. Maybe I want to get back into soccer. You know what I mean? Gumpy, why don't we go play that?
It's a lot of running.
I'll probably play one game. I'll be like, God, why am I doing this?
I had some people reach out last time we talked about it. It was 10 at night these games were. There's got to be something we could set up.
Talking to Nigel, though, man.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to Germany to play Bjorn and ping pong and probably do some shows. We got to stop over in Nigel's town, too.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll run in Ted Lasso.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hang out with Richmond.
Go to Anfield.
I fucking love Nigel, dude. Legitimately love that guy.
There were a few sentences that he ran through that I had not one word I could pick up.
Yeah, and then whenever he complimented our women's team, I didn't understand what he said.
Yeah.
And then he explained it to me, and it was almost like I looked like a bad guy. It was like I needed the closed captions.
Yeah.
Listen, I watched some of these documentaries and stuff like that where they're in England. I mean, we're speaking the same language, but sometimes it gets a little tough down there. You know what I mean? Those words are going in there.
Peaky Blinders is a closed caption show.
Yes.
Half the time when they talk, it's like, I don't even know what they're saying.
Yep.
Harry Kane and the fucking boys are bringing it home.
Harry Kane. Harry Kane. Let's get to a break. We're back on the other side with some phone calls, wrapping up this beautiful Wednesday. Maybe there'll be some breaking news or something to talk about in our world.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What's that?
I just saw someone sending a screenshot of one of the websites popped up on their phone. It says Jay Glazer says Aaron Rodgers still wants out. So it's
boy. So we are the news.
Yeah, is the.
So we are in this.
Oh no.
This is the Pat McAfee Show. We are the news. See you in 4 minutes.
They want to play for the Yankees one day. The people I'm playing against. They want to play for the fucking Yankees.
Check out, like, in there, we put a little surprise in there for you.
Let's get iced, it feels like. I mean, let's start the day, I guess.
What the fuck you get
It's great to be a member of the Washington Wild Things baseball team. We're number 1 in the league, right?
Yeah, let's fucking go.
Fuck everybody. Fuck everybody else. When I take BP, will there be anybody telling me how to fuck the hit? No. Feels like the wind's blowing this way. Might have to attack that fence tonight, huh? Hey, you got it! Does the DJ play heaters like this all night? I started hitting 2 days ago. Oh, you'll be fine. I think I figured it out. You'll probably only face 90 miles an hour tonight. You should be good. Is that me in the game there? This is a good at bat. This is a good at bat. Oh shit! Oh shit! Give me it!
1-1 pitch.
Let's go!
Line drive right
son of a
at
bitch!
the
That came down a lot faster than I thought, though. Let's be honest.
It's deep, and it is off the wall. Field it up.
Excuse me! If you could all get off of my dick, we would be better off. Tell you what, would have been nice to take a nap earlier.
Another throw.
Get back!
First.
You have to tell me when that's happening. You're making me look bad. Hey, Steven, fuck you. Hey, fuck you, Steven. Hey, nice pitch. 149. Does that feel good, Steven? Oh, wow. Wow.
He tosses him the ball.
Wow. Back to being a player now. Making plays. Touchdown. What inning is it?
Top of the second.
Jesus. But it was finally my time to get in that box.
Number 1, the right fielder, the former punter from West Virginia, a former Indianapolis Colt, and a current Barstool Sports personality, Pat McAfee.
The anticipation is real.
Oh, fuck.
Hit out.
I'm in the hole? Son of a bitch. This is about to happen.
And that will bring up Pat McAfee once again.
First pitch from Reynaldo Lopez, swing and a miss by McAfee.
Hey! What was that? And the catcher goes, I had to give you one.
Looked off speed.
What was that? Then I look at the pitcher, and he's smiling. He's like laughing, like he's toying with me like I'm a child. It all comes down to this. My last at-bat. Hey, I'm gonna get on. You bring me home.
This is your life on the line, fucker.
Let me tell you something. You're going to take an L, okay? You're going to take one. So I think that the close your eyes and swing method is perfect for you.
Oh, this is hardball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jesus. You have no prayer.
Now batting, number 1, right fielder, Pat McAfee.
Oh, boy. Oh, this is the thing. Let's go!
Giving the old white guys something to complain about. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Whether you're taking care of the kids or taking care of business, you've got to take care of your body and keep those energy levels up. Ain't that right?
Hell yeah.
The new Roman Daily Multivitamin will help you do just that. Sometimes you can't rely on your diet alone to get all the nutrients your body needs to keep your engine purring. You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh, that's good.
Because your body is your tool.
Mm-hmm.
And the heart and the nutrients inside is your engine.
Well said.
You got to take care of the engine just like you do for any other car or tool that you need that has an engine inside of it.
Like
Get under the hood.
Like a Hemi.
Like a Hemi, for instance.
Hell yeah.
that Hemi, I'm going to have to change oil a lot more, I've learned.
Really? Some wires, too.
A lot more. And tighten up some wires with that thing. And feed it the good gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what you need to do to your body, even more so than a Hemi even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
you know what I mean? You need to give it the right nutrients. And sometimes, no matter what your diet is, you can be lacking on some of the vitamins. And Roman did some research into what normal men's diets are and put together a multivitamin that basically has all the shit that you probably don't have in your diet. Shout out to Roman. Thank you. From my body to you.
Thank you, Roman.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But you can start your day off right with $15 off your first order of Roman Daily. This is a really easy way to support physical activity, brain health, your immune system, and heart health with no prescription required. The Roman Daily is coated with a slick coating of natural peppermint oil, so there's no unpleasant aftertaste. Remember, supplements are not a replacement for a healthy diet, exercise, and good sleep. You've still got to eat your greens, but this is to be your tag team partner in taking care of you.
Good to know.
The easy to swallow pill is available in monthly subscriptions for $35 a month, or you can even save with a quarterly subscription for $87.
Wow.
Yeah, quarterly. It's 4 of them.
That's right.
Do the math, you save some money there. And you get started, head over to GetRoman.com/PatShow and get $15 off your first order. That's GetRoman.com/PatShow. Although we have a GetRoman.com/Pat code as well. I think this one they want to see Pat Show.
Okay.
Fair.
Sounds good.
Get the vitamin.
Get it.
They also have clinically tested shit for basically everything that you could be lacking in your life.
Yep.
If you're a man, be the best you possible with our friends at Roman, a men's health company from the heavens.
Oh, yeah.
We debuted a commercial on the show today at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. And it might be the best thing we've ever created out here.
Incredible.
Shout out to Ben Stonium for the help. In that whole thing, editing with us, alongside of us, grabbing a lot, or making it, seem like a superhero movie almost, because that's what Roman is.
That's right.
They're a superhero to make you super you.
Ooh.
Nice.
Hey, they're Superman.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is there ever just going to be a super you where you're like the best tag team partner of all time, the best teammate of all time? That's his superhero ability. He's the super you. He gets alongside of you like Scottie Pippen, maybe to Michael Jordan.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Is that going to happen ever?
Try Roman and find
With
out.
Roman, it will.
Well, we'll find out. Yeah, Roman's a great time. Super you. Let's go to Sam in North Dakota. What's going on, Sam?
Hey, what's going on, Pat?
Just hanging out, man. How are you? Zito's the worst.
Just chilling, enjoying this super nice weather.
That's awesome, man. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about some of these NFL rookies coming into their rookie season.
Go.
Who do you think is most set, locked, and loaded, offense and defensive-wise, as the whole team to possibly make a playoff run and just have a really, really great rookie season?
Okay, great question. If you're a high-profile quarterback coming out of college, you're probably not going to a team that is going to be built perfectly because you're going to be drafted too early. The team you're going to have to basically put on your back and carry it. Now, Andrew Luck got drafted number 1 overall, came in immediately to playoffs. Unbelievable. I don't know how that worked. We had a lot of injuries. Peyton was hurt the year before. We won 2-14. Our team didn't reflect our record. And if you kind of look at that for these younger quarterbacks, you have to think Trey Lance with that San Francisco 49ers team. That team, I don't think reflected its record last year. It definitely reflected their situation of last year, though, which is injuries. Uncle COVID got in the room, and then they got kicked out of their stadium.
Right.
That team, I think, is ready to go. And Dan Orlovsky said, why are we starting Jimmy G? And then we asked Jay Glazer about it, and he said it's a tough offense to learn quickly. Trey Lance might be able to do that, but Jimmy G, they have a plan in place, is what he basically said about out there. I think Trey Lance, that team is built to go.
Well, and it does feel like a lot of these rookie quarterbacks are going to have opportunities pretty early on.
Oh, and you're saying New England, huh?
Well, Mac Jones definitely is going to have an opportunity, but, even Fields, like you were mentioning earlier, if Dalton and the Bears.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Matt Nagy came out, and he did a Chris Collinsworth podcast, which, by the way, I like that podcast. I like Chris Collinsworth. He has a good conversation, has a good vibe. I feel like he has good connections, too, to get us conversations from the sports media world that nobody else will get. I appreciate Chris doing that. And I think Chris takes a lot of heat because he calls a lot of the big games. So somebody's going to think that he hates their team or player or something like that. That comes with that profession. But I like that podcast he does. He had Nagy on. I thought that was, wild for Nagy to do the podcast because you don't really hear him talk much outside the press conference. He came out and alluded to the fact that basically Justin Fields not going to be the starter. Andy Dalton's still the starter. We like Justin Fields a lot. Obviously, we traded all the way up. So then yesterday, I think in a press conference, the reporter asked, hey, we listened to you talk there. Can we follow up about that? And he basically laid out their entire, viewpoint on it. Because when he brought in Andy Dalton, they told him he was the starter.
Yep.
They still had Nick Foles there, who was paid as if he was a starter when he first went there, wasn't the starter, became the starter. They still stunk, and then he's still there getting paid, though. Andy Dalton comes out of Dallas 1 year from getting beheaded, basically, as a Dallas Cowboy quarterback, and then winning some games late. He's told he's a starter, he's a starter, he's a starter. Like 10 days later or whatever, they draft Justin Fields when they trade up, make a lot of moves to get there. This comes after the Russell Wilson trade conversation, allegedly, with the Bears. So it's a big, it seems like they're just grasping at straws almost for who's going to be their quarterback. Andy Dalton's going to be the starter, though, Matt Nagy proclaimed June 15th or 16th, either today or yesterday. He's going to be the starter. We have a plan. He said everybody likes Justin Fields. They're there. And if you're a Bears fan, I think you at least got to appreciate the conviction by Nagy, being like, I don't care what any outside media outlet or anybody else is saying. This is our plan. The team needs to know Andy's going to be the starter. Will there be a turnover phase? Probably, but this is the whole go-to. And I like that because I think, when you have a competition in camp, it's never good. If a team doesn't know who the guy is, your team is not going to be together. Your team is naturally going to split, whether it's how old some people are, and in the locker room they might gravitate to that person. Maybe in the reps that they had, one particular quarterback is throwing a better ball, making a better decision, making some people's lives easier. Maybe one guy has more friends that are there that are older and more influential. You really don't want that in your locker room. I know places have had it. I know it does exist. I think the Bears said Mitch and Nick Foles are going to be a competition. As soon as that was said, I think we all said that's a bad idea because you're going to split the locker room. Maybe Nagy's just learning from that last year and saying, no, Andy's our guy. The team needs to know Andy's our guy. Fields is the backup. I think that's smart. I think they're learning their lesson through that entire thing after what happened last year where it was an abysmal failure. And I think Andy Dalton, if he has 1-2 bad games, it's going to get loud.
Yeah.
And I assume that's a part of Nagy's plan. But I like that he's not like, hey, this is a competition, because that can split the locker room immediately, which is the worst thing to happen to a team, especially in the NFL.
Well, and it's much easier for a team, like you said, during competition or during training camp for there to be a competition. But during the season, it's like, okay, if we're switching to this guy.
Training camp, even tough.
Yeah.
Training camp, the worst time to have a quarterback battle, because there's time in the training room where one guy might be with a group of guys. There's time at night in dorm rooms. There's different in the locker room. I just feel like at the quarterback position, you have to have a guy. Personally, I do. Because everybody else has to know, like, okay, this is the guy. This is what our team's going to be like. He's setting the tone. He's doing this. Everybody on offense, I think it makes their lives a lot easier because it's like, okay, I don't have to pick. I don't have to pick who I like, who's going to be better. Granted, I know competitions have to happen, and iron sharpens iron, everything like that. But at the quarterback position, I think if you don't, it helps out everything else. Now, if Andy Dalton struggles and they move Justin Fields in, the reps that Justin Fields has had in practice, I assume will earn the confidence of all his teammates. Like, hey, excited for your time to get in here. Okay. But I think during camp, you got to be like, hey, this is this guy's team. I just think you have to.
Even before that, like if he does, like if at camp it becomes abundantly clear, like, oh, okay, we have to play Justin Fields, do you think it'll ever even get to a point where that could happen? Or do you think this is just like, hey, this is the way it is, he's not going to start the season?
I think the reason why I was so big on it being June 15th, June 16th, him making his proclamation, is because what if they rewatch all the film here after everybody leaves and they're like, hey, we think Justin Fields is our guy. Maybe they haven't. I guess they probably already have, and they said he's not going to be the guy. This is after mini camps and OTAs and everything like that. But if before that camp you come out and say, hey, Justin Fields is – I want a team to name a starter but to just immediately rule out the guy that you made a massive trade for on draft night, and also your entire social media team is just promoting.
Yeah.
Your entire city is just promoting. I guess to come out early and say, hey, Andy Dalton is our starter, you're kind of putting Andy in an interesting situation, which Andy has been in a lot of interesting situations. But that's what Nagy's doing. I'll be excited to see how long the plan lasts, because everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Whatever his plan is, I mean, he's got 1 year to figure it out, so he better hope he's got the right plan picked.
I like that he's having some patience, though, even knowing that there's a chance he won't be around long term for the good of Justin Fields, maybe, as opposed to Justin or dropping him just in the middle of an absolute fire. What's up, Zeke?
Him not starting Justin Fields automatically gives him an extra year, right?
Now, that is a way you could think of him buying out of or pawning maybe responsibility off on.
He's learning. He's learning.
He's learning. We had promise, more promise than we did the year before. You know, he's a guy. We got a guy. Now we build around the guy. Granted, we gave up some picks, so we're not going to be able to do it through that. Maybe an offseason, especially if the Bears are moving around town up there in Chicago.
Yeah,
they're getting up out of Soldier Field.
Heading up to Arlington Park.
They're moving out of Soldier. Allegedly, that's conversations that's happening with City Council. There's a lot of change happening. You don't want to have a change of a coach, too, with this young guy.
No. That mayor's a stooge.
Maybe that is what they're doing. Hey, whoa.
Whoa, it's not a political show.
Yeah, well.
He's the one that keeps saying, oh, yeah, just come on in. Come over here.
Who, the Arlington mayor?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What's he saying?
That's all he's literally saying. That's the only reason that's his news.
What's he doing? He's saying that to media
there's
people?
a lot of room over here. We could build you a brand new stadium.
Oh, and a casino.
That'd be sweet.
Oh, and have Patriot Place or Lombardi Way like Green Bay has.
The Bear Boulevard.
Oh, no.
North Shore.
Third largest city in America.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Here we go.
But back to Fields, though. Does it do anything with his confidence? Like not being able to start?
No, I think it helps him actually. So he, I think there's a lot of pressure in being named starting quarterback in the NFL. Drew Lock came out, a report came out about Drew Lock. So something was said about Drew Lock from either him or his team that this year he's practicing every day. He's got film in the morning, in the offseason. It's like, that's starting quarterback in the NFL. Like that is your life. Now, Tom can throw footballs to the moon on TikTok on the beach because he just got done with probably a workout at that time. Yeah. And that's just what a starting quarterback is. Him not being the starter through this entire offseason, I think kind of takes a little bit of pressure away maybe, gives him some time to digest it, and then he knows that when the time is right, he'll go in. Allegedly, whenever the time is right, he'll go in. I think it helps out. But if you do plan on starting him, which I guess there's zero chance of now, I don't think telling him he's a backup is the right move either.
So Fields, decent situation because he's got Dalton and Foles to show him the ropes and stuff like that. There was a tweet yesterday from CBS. Zach Wilson and every other quarterback on that roster has never thrown a pass in the NFL. Is that a wild decision for number 2 overall pick?
I think so. We had Hasselbeck come in for Luck. He was a backup, and Hasselbeck has talked about the gut punch it was to find out that they wanted him to be the old backup that he had known around the NFL for so long because he was a starter with Tennessee, he was a starter at Seattle. Coming in and being the veteran presence in the room, I think was something that Matt initially didn't want to do. I think he told us, but then when he got a chance to do it, he bought in, absolutely loved it. You're not telling the person how to act, what to do. I think a lot of it is you can do this, you can do that. You're allowed to be mad at this. You're allowed to say that. And not everybody, rookie quarterback, for instance, Andrew Luck. I think a lot of us wish he was more of an asshole. I wish he would have said, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this. But I think you have to kind of feel your way into that. And Andrew never did that, by the way. That wasn't his personality. But I think a lot of us who got a chance to watch, Peyton be like, no, that guy's on the team. All right, that guy's making the team. I like that guy. That guy, not on the field. I do not trust that guy. You saw Peyton kind of have a handle on things. And he has... I feel like he had a pretty good feel for the locker room. He's in there every day with us. He's in the training room. So it was one of those things where I assume Peyton wasn't like that early in his career, but as he continued to grow and get older, and Sorgi was his backup there for a bit at the beginning. I don't know who his backup was or whatever, but that veteran presence is saying, you're allowed to do this. In college, you had to do it. You don't have to do that. I think that's a big deal. Now, the game nerves and jitters, I think you have to experience those and get past that. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they have They signed Mullins, I think, over there. They signed Flacco over there. They got Jalen Hurts over there. So, and at one point they said Hurts is a starter. Then they said don't act like he's a starter. Then it's a competition. It's the Eagles. They'll do what the Eagles do, But for me, I think you got to have a guy around you that says you're allowed to do this, both on the field and off the field, by the way. Vinatieri, obviously I wish I would have just went to his house on October 19th, 2010. You know, the night before I decided to get arrested at 4 a.m. for an alleged, drunk situation, public intoxication situation. But like what I talked to him about off the field, on the field, film, life, transitioning, getting money. I mean, there's something that is said to that, and hopefully they'll be able to do it. It seems like Josh McCown's going to be a head coach. You thought they would have brought him in already.
Yeah, well, and to that point too, like especially in New York, where like everything is magnified by 100. I mean, like you would think that they would want some guy who's been around in the league for several years to be like, hey, this is how you got to do things. That I mean, that it is kind of wild.
We're a big human show, right? I think that's we're big the human show. In the human, Zach Wilson, I mean, it looks like he's fitting in just fine. All right. Boys are chugging beers at Islanders games. Islanders lost last night.
Yes.
Their ass.
About time.
1-1. All right. Tied up down there. Go Bolts.
Come on, Bolts.
The Islanders took out the Penguins and the Bruins, which is in this room. So we should potentially pull for them because then at least we lost to the winning team.
Nah, that's not fun. Go Bolts, and then when it really comes time, Viva Las Vegas, baby. Let's go
for
Golden Knights.
sure. For sure, Viva Las Vegas. Marc-Andre Fleury, by the way, trying to take $100,000 to a charity out of my pocket. He's been warming up shooting
Saw that.
the puck, okay? I appreciate that, Math. Do what you got to do. But, yeah, you're 100% right. Him having a good time and, meeting his offensive line and having a performance in public that was much different than the gang sign throw thing on draft night or whatever. I think he's... his mom has blocked everybody or gone private. I think the initial thought of what's going to happen to Zach Wilson isn't all that we thought it was, but it's inevitable that something's going to happen when you go to the shadows of New York City and you're the starting quarterback for the Jets. Life's going to change. You would hope that they would put somebody a little bit older around him, but hey, that Joe Douglas knows how to build a team, Dahn.
That's right.
He did it for the Eagles, didn't he?
That's right.
Fly,
Eagles, fly on a road to victory.
You're from Delco.
Oh, yeah. Geno's or Pat's? Neither. D'Alessandro's.
Oh. Let's go to Juan in Illinois. What's going on, Juan?
Juan!
Cat and the boys, how are we doing on this Wednesday?
Hey, not too shabby, Juan. Are they moving the Bears around town up there in Chicago? I thought this was a storied franchise. I thought Soldier Field was the thing. Now I hear we're moving, going to Arlington. What's going on, Juan? Boots on the ground.
$100.
Soldier Field is the best venue in the NFL. I don't know what the hell they're
So
doing.
everything this guy says.
Bear down.
Yeah,
Bear down.
All right, what do you want to talk about, Juan?
I just want to say, if the Bucks do not win Game 6, I want Coach Bud the hell out of there. He's the reason why they lost that game last night, because he cannot make any changes. And I wanted to give a moment of silence to the other moments of silence that AJ Hawk has ruined on the show. Please and thank you.
There's a lot of good moments that were ruined, wasn't there?
It's a real bummer.
Yeah. By AJ Hawk.
Thinking about some of my favorites.
Sad.
Me too. I was running through all of them there. There was one that really, I think it was Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Zach Wilson's mom. AJ.
Yeah.
That was 36 seconds, by the way.
Okay.
That was your BP watch that it was
Yeah,
really
that was a couple seconds late then, so probably about 40 seconds ago.
That's right.
I did hear the BP watch, though. It was a moment of silence, and then all of a sudden, we're running 40s back here. Let's go to Poncho in Arizona. What's going on, Poncho?
Hey, what's up, Pat and the boys? How y'all doing today?
Hey, a lot better now that we got a chance to recognize all those moments we never got a chance to recognize because we had Ohio State Buckeye stooge AJ Hawk on alongside of us that disrespected all those moments, so we got a chance to really, memorialize there.
Yeah, that was a long pause there.
Yeah, radio, by the way, I'm sure that was great.
How many people do you think changed the channel?
I would
Did
assume
this shut down?
Yeah, but at this point, if they haven't changed the channel, I mean,
True.
we're kind of doing
Probably
them a
sticking
favor.
around.
Yeah, we're probably doing them a favor. What do you want to talk about, Poncho? Great name.
I don't know if you guys saw that
Cristiano Ronaldo interview or his post game, when he moved the Coca-Cola bottles and he caused an uproar and about a $5 billion loss in a matter of 2 days.
Is that what happened? Coca-Cola has lost $5 billion in its stock?
Yeah,
something like that.
Because Cristiano Ronaldo picked up 2 bottles and said, drink agua?
Yeah.
I
Pretty
love
much.
the world, dude. What a crazy fucking world we live in now.
Pogba did the same thing with a Heineken as well.
I seen that today. He moved the Heineken. I was going to ask Nigel about, her thoughts, you think, on Pogba moving the Heineken, but I got lost too much in that story. Him just drinking with a $15 billion founder of Heineken and having no idea about it is why Nigel is so good on this show, I think. But the thing about the Coca-Cola movement costing him $5 billion, that's what it was said?
Yeah.
Why would you ever invest in the stock market?
Yeah.
Why would you ever?
Ridiculous.
Like, I understand it's a game and it's the gambling long before the gambling and everything like that. And Cristiano Ronaldo, who is quite an influencer in the world, saying this is trash, basically, and then drink water. You thought people probably lost. I mean, obviously, John Coca-Cola or Sandy Coca-Cola lost out a lot of money.
Coke.
But there's people that were invested in Coca-Cola just lost a shit ton of money because Cristiano Ronaldo said, hey, this ain't how I have a 10-pack. I don't know. Why would you ever invest in there?
I don't know. Coke will be back.
People tell me I'm a stooge, by the way, for not investing in there. And it's like, I'm a stooge? You just lost $2 million because Cristiano Ronaldo said this thing stinks. I mean, who's the stooge here?
Well, Coke's
I
got
bought a
water.
wrestling ring. I bought a $100,000 Jeep with a Hemi. I could see that. You know where your money went? Bang! To another table when Cristiano Ronaldo said, this is shit. Let's get out of here. What were you going to say, though? I think you were going to say
Well,
something.
Coca-Cola's got a water. Why don't they just start plugging that? Hey, Cristiano,
Dasani.
sorry. Hey,
Dasani Coke's water?
I think, right? Yeah. Hey, we got Dasani. Drink that.
I'm not getting into a full which water's the best.
Well, it's not
It
Dasani.
certainly
but we-
isn't Dasani.
Definitely isn't Aquafina.
No, it's
No, it's
worst.
definitely not Aquafina.
Yeah, it's
Aquafina is the worst.
Yeah.
You're
That
drinking
Pepsi?
a pool out of a bottle.
Disgusting.
There's the stock market moving. Drinking that chlorine shit from Aquafina.
Aquafina's if you
All right, we're back tomorrow. Chris Mad Dog Russo's host. Bad show for the serious listeners today. Bad show. Had a 40-second moment of silence on the radio.
Yeah, but Glazer broke news, so.
We are the news.
That's right.
We are the news.
No, yeah.
By the way, I think I have some news to break tomorrow, maybe, too.
Okay.
I mean, if we're going to keep with this trend of we are the news, we are the news. We are the sources. We are the sports stooges. This show is so
I
bad.
did some pretty interesting breaking news.
What is it?
So Jamison Hensley, who is a reporter, ESPN's reporter for the Ravens.
Oh, Henzo.
Yeah, tweeted out Lamar Jackson made his best throw of camp, blah, 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 blah. Someone replied, so we get none of the video? And he replied, media is no longer allowed to film Lamar Jackson throwing the ball to receivers.
So that's because of our reaction to the social media choosing to put out an absolute wobbly duck as a completion to Sammy Watkins. I'd assume what had happened was Lamar, that was maybe his first throw, maybe a throw that went bad, by the way, which happens in practice. There is a chance that a ball can maybe slip out of a hand, and if the completion happens, it happens in games as well. Peyton Manning, legendary answer. I've thrown a lot of wobbly touchdowns, too, whenever people say his ball wobbles or he throws a lot of wobbly balls or something like that. But the social media team, our answer was the social media team putting that video out as if it's a good video with everything that people could potentially Macho Man Randy Savage elbow drop, ram jam on Lamar about was showcased in that video. So our big thing was this social media team's trying to bury fucking Lamar Jackson out here. Can't be doing it. Can't have it. Now Harbaugh goes, I agree with what McAfee and them said. Nobody posts anything anymore unless you know football out here.
Done with it.
Sorry.
It's probably for better, by the way. I don't like any information getting out of practices. I think they're a little bit too loose nowadays as it is because social media teams got to do what they got to do. There is some LeBron James news.
What?
LeBron James has tweeted out some things. They all didn't want to listen to me about the start of the season. I knew exactly what would happen. I only wanted to protect the well-being of the players, which ultimately is the product and benefit of our game. These injuries isn't just part of the game. It's the lack of pure rim rest before starting back up. 8, possibly 9 All-Stars has missed playoff games, parenthesi, most in league history, parenthesi, period. This is the best time of the year for our league and fans, but missing a ton of our favorite players. It's insane. If there's one person that know about the body and how it works all year round, It's motherfucking me, dude. I speak for the health of all of our players, and I hate to see this many injuries this time of year. Sorry, fans. Wish you guys were seeing all your favorite guys right now. Prayer hands, crown, as if the king's signing off. Hey, LeBron, I appreciate you coming out and saying this. Let me know who I'm not happy about not seeing. Fucking you, pal. All right?
Yeah.
Wait, I want you in there. LeBron, I want to see you play basketball.
Right now.
You're
We
wearing
want
my
to
game
do.
squad.
What the hell, bro?
Oh, you're my favorite player.
Hell yeah.
This is something that the NBA has, and the NBPA has battled for a long time, the travel and the sleep schedule and the rest and everything like that. Because although they do get paid massive amounts of money, they generate massive amounts of money for a lot of people as well. Their travel schedules are insane. Their contracts are guaranteed. And there's only a few guys, okay, that can play in the NBA. All right, that's why their contracts are the way they are versus everybody else. Although the NFL relies on its stars, I 100% agree. You have to be an NBA player to make it into the NBA. Not everybody. Hey, I play in the NFL, okay? There's no chance somebody similar to me is making it to the NBA. Okay, like if you're not at least 6'1", 6'2", and if you are 6 foot tall, you got to have the best handles in the history of sport or the best shot in the history of sport. You have to be 6'6", 6'7". You have to be an NBA guy. They know it. Now, I guess there's massive recovery problems. I forget who we talked to a couple years ago. They had a good source, and it kind of opened. There's guys that if they can't fall asleep in time because the travel schedule and they can't sleep, they're running on like 2 hours of sleep before a game. It's like 2 games in a 24-hour period with they're only getting 2 hours of sleep, and then they're on the road again, and then they got 3 games with a potential 7 hours of sleep between all of them, because if they don't catch the rhythm, which is incredibly difficult for some people while traveling to sleep. That is not, it's not like, oh, they're not tired. Then it's like, no, some people just can't fall asleep while traveling. I think it's a lot of that all going on. LeBron was trying to tell us, hey, we was telling you, and now we was finding out, I guess, that he was not lying about that.
Well, and didn't the league try, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but for like those marquee like TNT games and stuff like that, they basically said like, hey, your all-stars aren't resting for these national games. You got to make sure these guys are playing. We don't care if it's on back-to-backs.
LeBron said, and I know all about the business side too, /factor, so don't even try me. I get it.
He knows.
Hey, listen, you remember? I am the NBA.
Yeah.
When down the bubble, they were having a meeting. LeBron said something. He left. Guess what? We're playing basketball tomorrow. Who said? LeBron said. Okay. Now, LeBron is the NBA for a reason. LeBron has been famous since he was, 14 years old. He's been rich since he was 16 years old, driving in the Hummer. He's been the face of basketball's future since he was a child. He has been able to live up somehow to every potential on-court expectation of him whenever he was, cover athlete for every magazine. As a 17-year-old, this is the king of basketball. King James is what he's been called. Somehow, I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how he's been able to mentally stay on that whole thing. Obviously knows about the business. He's done a lot of things. He said some things that has pissed off a lot of people. But what LeBron says goes. I think everybody knows that in the NBA. That's how it is. Michael Jordan was the same way back in the day. Because if you see those clips of a ref going, I didn't see it, Mr. Jordan. But that's kind of how it is. They take care of the stars over there. And I think this is going to lead to, obviously, a different scheduling thing. And I'm not happy everybody's hurt, by the way, but if this gives Kevin Durant a chance to play every single minute of every single game and score 50 every single night, I think some fans are pumped to see Kevin Durant back. But you're right, the injuries are a problem.
Yeah, sign me up for KD playing every minute of every game going forward. But like for Kawhi to get hurt, who's like the face of load management, it kind of like counters his point almost, just because it's like, hey, look, Kawhi's a guy who plays, every other game sometimes, so sometimes back to back.
Maybe it's not. Maybe with the way things are, it's impossible because what we thought was the right answer, load management, which, by the way, fans did not.
Spies.
Yeah, hate.
Now, LeBron, he was a part of the load management, by the way, for a little bit, because I remember he was playing the Pacers, and he wouldn't play in the Pacers. And I was kind of like, he's in Indianapolis. I'll go to the game. He's not playing. No chance.
Never mind.
Okay, this is going to happen. And then, by the way, he changes. I wonder if the NBA told him, like, hey, LeBron, you get it, we get it. All right, you're selling out arenas all over the place, pal. We need you to play. He has been he plays a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron is not a load management guy now. He plays a lot.
Every game, yeah.
I wonder what the right answer is. If the Kawhi Leonard thing happens on the load management, I wonder what they'll come to a conclusion about.
There's been some talk that since the 72-game season this year worked out fine, going down from 82 to 72 because of the shortened schedule or whatever, that they may just do 72-game seasons from now on with the normal schedule, with the normal offseason and stuff like that.
So then they can hopefully flip the playoffs into bigger revenue money from the TV, but their ratings have allegedly been going down. Is that regular season and playoffs as well? Because I remember last year, the bubble, the conversation was nobody's watching this.
Yeah.
That was what everybody said. We watched. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The bubble was action. It was sport whenever we thought there was a chance no sport was coming back for a long time. But the ratings did not show that it was great. But digitally, the NBA has taken over.
Crushes.
They've absolutely taken over digitally. How do they profit off of that? Games that don't matter being shortened and games that do matter getting extended, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Well, and they figured out the Top Shot and NFTs and that shit. So, they're finding avenues where they
those
need
highlights are going to go the night of on NFTs.
Yeah.
Hey, this play, Kevin Durant last night, that pass from Harden to that shot.
Yes.
Like if that thing was to go up this weekend, I think, or tonight, it would be
like an auction.
Probably pretty.
A lot of bids on that.
Probably a lot of bids quickly. Because that is something that is like an instant gratification thing, the NFT thing. It's an investment. So they should take advantage of the instant gratification. Like, hey, this morning maybe. Hey, you saw it last night. It is available until blah, blah, blah right now. That's something you could do.
Yeah.
Why don't they do that? They'll start.
Yeah, they might not
They'll
have
start doing that.
thought of it yet.
No.
Or how
So
long does
more
it
people-
take? Do you have to?
Are they already?
Yes, it's already happened. Maybe we don't know.
We
enough.
might have missed it. Yeah.
Maybe we didn't make. Great idea. If they're already doing it, hey, I'm happy you guys. I knew you guys would figure it out.
The work.
There you go, NBA.
We knew you guys would figure it out. Last phone call of the day here. Let's go to Cole in Seattle. Shout out to Seattle, dude. Rain in Starbucks, right?
That's right.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, Cole, you smoked up?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It is very cheap over here.
Yeah, I could fathom. I like the way you came in there sounding like you're a little bit doped up, but I want to let you know talking to a pretty large crowd that is as well. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about if the Seahawks record is not very good this year, stacked NFC West, what happens with Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll? Do they move on from one of them or maybe both?
Cole, great question. I'm happy you brought that up because we do have to cover this. We alluded to it earlier going into a break. There was a press conference yesterday at Mandatory OTAs in Seattle. Pete Carroll was about to step onto the microphone. And when Pete Carroll talks, it's always, hey, here we go, here we go, here we go. Actually, when Pete Carroll speaks, he's used to talk to focus groups and to people on how you're supposed to speak. Now, I don't know what has happened since, but there was a focus group expert named Frank Luntz. And I don't know what has happened to him in his life. He got into the politics world. I think that is where focus groups come from, big time in the politics world. I think that's where he got famous. He came and talked to the Colts in training camp about, media relations and things you should say. We saw a 4-minute highlight of Pete Carroll speaking, and they had this line that is used by the focus groups. When it's green, it means they're pressing up. They like it. When it's red, it's something the group of people didn't like to hear. And Pete Carroll's press conference that we were seeing was just like green, green, go down, green, green, green. And then he put on somebody else's, and it was like red, 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 red. Like Pete Carroll, one of the best speaking coaches, I think, in the NFL and college football when it comes to the entire process of like coach speak and not saying anything, still saying something positive, engaging, that whole thing. So that's why with this Russell Wilson-Pete Carroll pairing, we always thought was completely perfect because Russell Wilson, every time he's mic'd up, it seems like what he's saying would be a lot of green, 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 because it's always like, hey, here we go.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Hey, clear heart, or clear eyes, full hearts. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, we're going to bounce back. We're going to be better than ever. Hey, listen.
Here we go, boys.
Touchdown here.
Come on now, boys. Go Hawks.
He sounded like a movie when he was mic'd up. I've never been around a player that sounded like Russell Wilson whenever I watch his mic'd up clips, which I'm always so fascinated by because you're getting a chance to learn about the actual player, I think. I think you're getting a chance. Now, how it's edited and everything like that, obviously, and on sidelines when you're mic'd up, your teammates don't really want to talk to you anyways because you are mic'd up and you have to tell them. But listening to Russell Wilson speak and Pete Carroll speak, you'd think like, okay, here we go.
Match
Thunder
made in
lightning.
heaven.
Here, this is peanut butter jelly, peas and carrots. This is Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. Then things started to slip out. It was like, no. This guy is storming out of meetings. This guy doesn't like the way this guy's running things. This guy's team hates the offensive line, hates the strategy, hates the scheme. This guy wants to be traded to these places. Now, Russell Wilson has come out and said he has never asked to be traded. And Pete Carroll's anonymous sources that were going into the media and potentially burying Russell Wilson, Pete said, hey, I've never said any of that stuff. It was other people. It seems like they've gotten past it. And just yesterday at Pete Carroll's press conference before he was supposed to deliver, I'd assume his diagnosis of the day, the old buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
The old best friends decided to hop onto that horse one more again and say, we're back at this thing. We love each other. What a moment in Seattle. Go ahead and run this, Foxy.
Letting everybody know we're still friends,
Hey,
hey. Just messing with you.
Hey, Schneider comes in on the side.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning.
know we're still friends, Hey. Just messing with you.
Pete Carroll was scared to death.
Get out of here.
Did he think somebody was potentially attacking him? Didn't know that was coming? Was he worried that Russell Wilson was going to say something? Still haven't fixed the problems. Imagine if Russell Wilson comes in and does that. Instead, it's a beautiful moment. Schneider's in there. We're all incredibly happy for the family getting back together. Congrats to the Seahawks. The Bears made you an offer like 3 first-round picks and another starter. You guys turned it down whenever there was allegedly some tension between Russ and Pete and Schneider. And now everybody's back on the same page. They went and had a couple probably kale sandwiches and Peloton rides together. They're completely past it. If they lose, is it going to be a nightmare, or are they truly past it? That's what we will wait alongside to see with bated breath on whether or not the Seahawks are done forever or potentially together forever. It's going to be fascinating to see.
I don't know. It kind of looked like Pete was like, "Get away from me, dude."
It did look like that a little bit.
You had your press conference.
Maybe COVID too,
Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe he's like, hey, what are we doing?
Protocols.
Are we trying to super spread this thing? I'm not 100% sure. We have some breaking news out of the NBA via Marko Lujbomirovic at Lujbomirovic M on Twitter. Denver Nuggets superstar and NBA MVP Nikola Jokic at the Hippodrome in his hometown of Sombor shortly after he landed in Serbia. Earlier today, he announced that he will not play for the national team this summer. Okay, so Joker's not playing for the Serbian national team. Bron's not playing for America. He's playing for the Toon Squad. But we do got the MVP of the NBA riding in a carriage, a one-person carriage for a horse. This is a horse rickshaw, I believe, fresh out of the Amish country. The fact that this is what he's doing means to me, hey, he's still humble.
Yeah, that's right.
Joker wins that MVP. He does not forget where he came from. If he has to stare directly into a horse's ass to get to the market, he will do it if that's what he's got to do back in his hometown. The Joker said, I ain't playing for the national team, but I am riding around like the rest of the Nationals right now, okay? Horse shit, horse's ass, it's horse manure that I'm not going to be your MVP every single year going forward, Serbia. We got a guy, is what Joker's saying over there. Also, his brothers almost fought in the Nuggets Suns game.
Ready to go.
Whenever he got ejected in the third quarter of a game that was an elimination game for his team, down 8. They eject him for that. What are you doing, NBA?
Some way to treat the MVP.
Suns in 4, though. It was bigger than Joker. It was bigger than the NBA. But I don't know if it was ever going to be bigger than him sitting on a wooden thing behind a goddamn horse. That is just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, is that like a taxi in Sombora, or is that like his,
So is the horse collecting the fee? Okay. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like, do you got to pay it something, or
do you go on a nap? You know what I mean?
Oh,
and they send the horse to you. Then you sit in the back. The horse delivers you. You pay online to horses stable.
I like to think that's his lifelong horse, and he saw his buddy after a long season, and they were out just as soon as he got back. Hey, let's go out for a nice little ride.
Go get some sugar cubes for you.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been a little while. I want to let you know, I did us proud. Now it's time for you to shine. Take me to the fucking market. Right now. What's the name of that horse, you think? Horses have such good names.
Maybe Batman.
Can we? I've seen maybe Batman and Joker.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Yeah. I think they're on the same side though. Yeah. So maybe.
Well, Batman and Joker, they need each other.
Well,
let's not forget.
Maybe it's Bane. Maybe the horse's name is Bane. Joker and Bane fucking doing their thing. Yeah. That's probably the dark there. Yeah. That was probably what happened when he blew up the Heinz Field. Right behind Heinz Ward. Heinz Ward, by the way,
hell of a return.
Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, Bane and Joker, I think, probably riding around Serbia is something I wouldn't want to run into or happenstance, especially with the way his brothers were ready to throw hands. I couldn't even imagine their fucking horses, too. Oh, the Joker brothers stable is ready to go, dude.
Yeah. Ripped up.
They don't play any games out there. Zito just told me that we're made into Lego characters. I saw this guy at Lego Barstool, I think. I saw a tweet that he was going to make us into a Legos. He was asking, by the way, about us and learning about us. Oh, boys. Look at us, dude.
Cool.
Oh, that's his name? Kyle what? Oh, that's not him.
I don't think that's him. That's just he found it on Reddit.
Okay. Oh, look at you guys. Boston Stooge, look at you.
Cool. Go Pats.
Hey, Ty, you look good, dude.
Nice mustache.
Yeah, look, Ty, you look good. Are you a model Lego, dude?
Nice.
Hey, how much time does this take? A long time, huh?
Oh, Z.
Which one's?
Bailey looks exactly
Bill and
like
Z?
Bailey.
Yeah, that is Bill.
That is Bill.
Bill's on the left, right?
Perfect.
No, Bill's on the right.
Oh, who's on the left?
Z.
Looks just like him.
That's
Oh, he has a
Bill.
hat on.
Facebook,
He has
yeah.
a hat on.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a hat on. Got it. All right. Look at Diggs.
Oh, baby Tom.
Tone.
Tony.
Hey.
Look
Look
like
at that.
I'm
You
in
got
an
a-
insane asylum.
Now, what do you have? You have
He's got the
a beekeeper
beekeeper suit on.
and an IndyCar helmet on with the cowboy hat on top of that
Pretty
thing.
good.
That's awesome.
Hey, that's a good work.
Who
there.
was the guest on the catch?
Zoom in. Maybe it's Ariel.
Hawk on the TV.
Is that AJ? Zoom in on AJ. Oh my God, that better be a good jawline. It's good. It's square jaw. Yeah.
Blocky.
I don't know if that's AJ though. Is it? Hey, me, not bad. Thanks for the hair. Okay, appreciate what you did there. The arms look pretty good.
Yeah, you look yoked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
holy
I mean,
shit.
it seems like he put maybe double XL arms on that. I appreciate that.
Desk
bro.
is neat on that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Thanks. You. Very neat. That's from an early picture of the desk. Obviously.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Lego.
Thank you, Lego.
man.
We'll never see it in real life, but we got to see it there, and appreciate it, man. It's an honor for you to take time out of your day to draw my face onto something, man. More importantly, draw Connor's face onto something, and Bailey's face onto something. Put that hat on Zito.
Yeah.
Make AJ just a square face. Have it son of a bitch. All right, that's the show. What do you guys got for us today? Anything cool? Italy's playing now?
Hammer Dahn.
Hammer Dahn.
Is Italy playing now? I might go play some soccer, don't I?
Yeah, play a Foursquare soccer, baby.
These Zions, by the way, might be some like indoor shoes for people.
Italy is 16 man in.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Nice.
good save.
Nice.
Ooh. Still got it.
Beautiful game.
Knee's probably gonna hurt.
I do know you don't give a shit, but it's probably worth mentioning. Pretty fucking cool. You got nominated for an ESPY.
Oh
today.
yeah, here we go.
Pretty
No,
incredible.
I don't think
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't think I'm nominated for an ESPY yet. I think I have to earn my way to the nomination.
Into the nomination. Okay.
It's gonna be tough, by the way.
You're up for a nomination.
For a WWE Moment of the Year ESPY.
Wow.
So I think there's voting that has to happen now. And now the only problem is, now, listen, I would have put together just me from NXT.
Yeah.
And put that out there, maybe. That's what we would have done.
Sure.
If I get nominated, I think fucking Cole.
Oh, you have to
but
share it
the,
with
the,
him.
the clip is you kicking him in the mouth.
Yeah, you're right. The moment is
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with him.
So he could walk up on stage with you, but he's got to lay on the ground, knocked out.
Like
Reenact.
Yeah, maybe you
Yeah.
just kick him in the face again.
Yeah. We need to get that to happen. I think there's a vote that happens. We need to get him punching or kicked in the mouth on the ESPY stage.
Maybe they give him like a participation ribbon or something.
Yeah.
You get the trophy, obviously.
I'm giving a speech too, right?
Yeah. I'm accepting this. On.
Actually, you give the speech, and then when he goes up to talk, they play him
They'll
off.
run the music.
Yeah.
This is the ESPYs, though.
What do you mean?
They might run me off, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Did you see that first time I was on College Game
Russ
Day?
Wilson wouldn't do that, too.
Did you see that first time I was on College Game Day? Like 10 segments or something like that? Awesome. And then each week it just kind of...
All right, Pat, you got 35 tonight.
Cola stock.
10 seconds. Yeah,
20.
bingo. By this last year, I think I was waiting around for like a 15, 20-second hit or whatever. It's like, this is awesome. Thanks for the opportunity. Give me the I'm going to go sleep in. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yell wham really loud, and then you're done.
Yeah, exactly. Just fucking come in here and dance, clown, and then we're going to get out of here. So I think they'll probably run me off. Is that even one that wins an award on the stage, or are you like beforehand, you think?
It depends.
Usually it was on stage.
When
Could you imagine winning a fucking ESPY for that? Oh. That'd be electric. we're up against some tough things within the WWE.
Yeah.
Turns out this last year there was a lot of big moments in the WWE.
Forgot about it.
It's an honor to be a part of it, but I do not believe we are in the real running.
You don't need to win. You just need to be top 4 to be an actual nominee of it.
It's got to get into the dance.
So there has been a time at the ESPYs where the camera was on me for an award.
Oh yeah.
It was when Andrew led that comeback against the Kansas City Chiefs for Game of the Year or something like that, down like 28 or something, and then we win. Nobody else from the Colts was there except for me. I was there with NFL Network. They had me on like the red carpet doing something. 7,000 degrees, no fan, this much space. We'll never do it again.
Yikes.
Okay, but it was awesome. I got a chance to go to the ESPYs for the first time ever. Go to the show. It was when Drake was hosting it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. By the way, pretty good performance.
Pretty good one. Yeah.
He put some people in some bad situations with some of his jokes. You know, when he was talking about the side pieces in the back.
Sure.
I think that did potentially hit a little bit too close to home for some of the people that were sitting in the first couple rows where I was at. But that was also when the Sterling Never Loved Us thing.
Yep.
Yeah, when old white racist stooge.
Donald Sterling.
Yeah, Donald Sterling. And Drake did a full Sterling Never Loved Us rap, and then it went to commercial break. Song stops, lights come on. Me and the guy I was with, the only white people in the area, okay? Only white people in the area. And I wanted to stand up and say, hey, I don't think a motherfucker loved me either. I think he was a hateful guy. I think he was a hateful guy, but it was a couple good moments getting to see how the ESPYs operate, that whole thing. But there was no other Indianapolis Colts representatives there. So when that award was up for Game of the Year, obviously the Colts had found out that they did not win and nobody traveled. A camera person came over and started shooting me, and they were reading off the nominees. I was like, am I about to give a fucking speech for the Colts? And at that point, I think maybe 4 or 5 edibles deep, just trying to enjoy the show here in a full suit. I had sweat 45 pounds already from staying outside. I was in quite a predicament. And then that camera come over, and I'm like, I'm speaking for the Indianapolis Colts when we win this goddamn Emmy.
Let's do it.
Or ESPY. We did not. Somebody else won it. I didn't even get on the screen, actually. They didn't even say that we were wrecked at all. Yeah. I went to the College Football Awards. I was a finalist for the Ray Guy Award. I was down there. I had to obviously travel to Orlando in the middle of the week. My parents had to take off from work, had to rent a suit for the whole thing. You know, it was a big to-do. I've said this before. Out of the 3 people that were selected to be finalists, I should have definitely won. But we weren't supposed to be the 3 finalists, if that makes sense. Yeah. Wasn't the right 3 people, but out of the 3, I thought I was going to win. Only reason why I went, by the way, and the only reason why Tim calls off work, Tim McAfee, Sally McAfee calls off work, goes down there. They had me sitting right on the edge of an aisle, too. This was the Tim Tebow Awards, this one. Basically, he won all the awards or whatever. And they put a camera on me. My mom's right next to me. My dad is on the other side. We're all on TV. As he's talking, I think he's explaining, like, us, I'm like about to get up. He says somebody else's name, and then all of a sudden we have to act like we're not like, oh, this is a big fucking waste of time. We had to, all right, here we go. Way to go. That guy was very cool, by the way. He was a cool dude. Very nice guy. Not his problem. Situation we were in, though, we just wasted a lot of time coming to this thing. Yeah. Now we got to sit through 2 hours of this goddamn show with little to no leg room in suits that we look like clowns out here. Yeah. So I don't have the greatest history with award shows, but if we get an ESPY for kicking Adam Cole in the fucking mouth, now we're playing again. Now we're playing again. We're not going to win it, but it's nice to be potentially nominated.
Kind of turned around already with the Rookie of the Year, so who knows? Maybe this is a new, time for these award shows.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year, dude.
Your WWE award show career has been great.
Incredible.
So, football.
Hey, we're going to win. Hey, we're going to win.
Come on. Come on.
I think there was like a potential, Roman Reigns comeback out of nowhere when he was gone in the middle of the quarantine for other reasons, and it was a big thing, Maybe that one. Greatest wrestler on earth, big moment. An ESPY, probably going to give a speech. That one's going to be tough.
That one might be tough
By the
to
way,
beat.
It's going to be hard on SmackDown not to say
I was the runner-up.
Me and Rome, that guy, are potential finalists for an ESPY this year. But.
Yeah. Never underestimate how much people love Adam Cole getting kicked in the mouth.
Yeah, you're right.
Scumbag.
But people love seeing Roman be Roman. It's Roman Reigns we're talking about.
You guys are both
head of the table. That's what we're talking about.
Sometimes hate is stronger than love, and they hate Adam Cole.
They do hate him.
Well, and that's why, Cena with his information might also make a run at the end there, too.
Cena's not a finalist.
What are you talking about, dude? Cena's been shooting fast 9.
Oh, I thought that
All
moment
right,
also.
let's get to a break for about 20 hours or so. 20 hours and 36 minutes from now, we are back. We're going to have to call it quits here. But before we get out of here, somebody won a Traeger yesterday.
What? Hell yeah.
Yeah, it got up to number 6, I think, trending. Had a few thousand entries. Now to number 5.
I did see it at 5,
Got
yeah.
up to number 5. We appreciate everybody for entering. Thank you. Big shout out to Traeger for giving us a grill to give away. And massive congratulations to a man named James who got the exact time right. James Bergdorfer. Okay? Congratulations.
Go, Jamie!
Big German show yesterday. Yeah. Big German. I don't know if this is international shipping.
Oh, shit.
We're going to have to figure that one out. But it was 21 minutes and 12 seconds. There was somebody that was 1 second off all day. James finally got it right at the end. Congrats to James winning an $800 $575 bronze pellet grill. Big thanks to everybody for entering. Big shout out to Traeger having the greatest grills on earth. If you are not James, obviously go to TraegerGrills.com/Pat. Enter code PAT for free shipping on the greatest grills that have ever been assembled. You're talking about being able to run it from your phone. It's not just grilling, by the way. Everybody talks about grilling, you know. How about roasting?
What?
How about bacon?
What?
How about barbecue?
What?
How about searing? How about rotisserie? How about everything? Literally with Traeger grill, and a lot of them you can operate on your phone. It's amazing. Congrats to James. We'll get that sent out to you as soon as possible. Foxy's also crowning a winner of a dream vacation, I think this Friday on the newest version of the vlog, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the vlog giveaways that I haven't announced yet will be on Friday.
Okay, here we go. So a lot of giveaways.
Here we go.
Foxy on Friday. Hashtag in the pod squad. We're still giving away money basically every single podcast. If you miss any part of the show and only have the ability to listen, the best of the show basically goes out every single day around 5 o'clock. Pat McAfee Show 2.0. We could potentially cut that into individual half-hour segments of the show.
Oh, we could.
You know, or into hour segments of the show.
Yeah.
And make it like 3 shows
3
a
episodes.
day.
Oh.
Hour 1, hour 2, hour 3.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. That'd be a good move. And then everybody that's subscribed to it, we could just count as 3. You know what I mean?
Oh, triple it.
Something to think about.
It's kind of weird.
Interesting.
That's an interesting move.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
I don't
Those
thi-
numbers.
No,
again.
it's awesome though, by the way. That's a smart move.
Yeah.
And it's a good game. That's
Absolutely.
a great move.
Playing it.
And it's smart and something we should have done a long time ago, but instead we'll just release our hour and 45 minutes worth of garbage that was the best of today that you should not be listening to every single day, Monday through Friday around 5 o'clock. Ain't that right, Tom?
Bingo. Yep.
All right, we're out of here. Congrats, James. Congrats to all the people that have been betting alongside Hammer Down.
Yeah.
4 o'clock, 34 minutes away from an ATM machine. The boys are hot. The Euros are still happening and baseball's still happening. We appreciate you guys. I might go try to find a soccer net, maybe a pitch, huh?
Pitch.
I'm going to go run the pitch, huh? How about it, huh?
Hell yeah.
Hey,
Have one, lad.
I'll have a good dig out there, a little swerve, a little knuckle on there.
Go for glory.
Ambitious.
Maybe 124 mile an hour.
Done.
Wouldn't want in, by the way, the time I hit it 124 miles an hour, it actually hit the crossbar of the upright of the field goal, which is a foot higher than the soccer net.
Did the upright fall
there we
over?
go.
It did rattle for about 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
Can imagine.
The guy who had the gun, the radar gun, was standing behind the pad of the upright with a gun like this. Yeah, do we have it? Yeah, let's run it. This is real. When I say, I think people think I'm lying. This is what happens when all you do is kick a soccer ball against the side of the house all fucking day.
Yeah, there's that guy.
Yeah, that guy hiding. By the way, he put a little board down in front of him and his feet there. I don't know if you saw that. I'm pretty pumped about this as soon as he said it. Because I haven't been clocked since I was like 13 years old. 14 years old at their soccer tournaments. They always have a radar gun.
Yeah. Fucking wild.
Yeah. I mean, I was like 80-some when I was like 13, 14. And then I saw David Beckham in the World Cup hit like 90-something on one of his penalties. And I was like, all right. So it is possible to do that. So I just kept going and going and going. I said, I can't run for long distances, but if I can put a ball through somebody's chest potentially, I mean, it feels like that's quite a weapon. It got me a long way in soccer, by the way. Soccer ball whacker guy was basically, you brought around, you know, hey, we need you to come kick the shit out of this ball. Will you do that? You got it. And then obviously it led perfectly into a American football kicking situation where I have to run 8 miles less a game. And that was a pretty easy decision for me, but I used to love playing soccer. I spent a lot of time with a soccer ball. But even back then, and it probably would have helped me out a lot more in soccer if I watched it back in the day, maybe get some tips from the greats. I couldn't fucking watch it then. I can't watch it now, it turns out. Unless we get to the quarterfinals or the semifinals or the finals of the Euros. Ain't that right, Gump?
It's heating up. Italy's up 1-0 right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Hot start.
Who's playing goal? Buffon?
GG's in there, yeah. No, he's not. That's a lie.
Still got it. All right, see you tomorrow. Still got it.